The topic is Rebirth of Midwifery in India, Challenges Faced by the Midwives. So yesterday we had seen the topics regarding the evolution of midwifery in India, that is mainly dealt by the Manonmanmi madam, and she has very well explained regarding the how the evolution taken place from the past and present, and then for the future, how it is going to. Then followed by reflection of midwifery practices today, that is mainly shared by 4 people who told regarding the ethical dilemmas as well as the practical challenges faced by the midwives, strategies to overcome the practical challenges, what are the action plan has to be taken in order to overcome these challenges, what are the changing nature of midwifery care in the state, and Madam Rita Lakhani has given many evidence-based examples and various research quotings, as well as Dr. Manisha Kadam has given regarding Government of India's guidelines in improving the maternity care. And the session was, one more session was there on by Dr. Sujata Sawant regarding her experience as a lactational consultant and how she came into this particular field and what are the challenges she faced during her tenure. So these are the day 1 sessions what we had. And today we are moving to the day 2 sessions where we normally see regarding the introduction of birth companion at the facility, which normally we heard but hardly we see, and followed by establishment of the midwifery led care units, which is very less in Indian scenario, even though we can independently practice midwifery because we have registered nurses for that. And we'll see the one more topic, that is advocacy for the independent midwifery practice in India. To begin with, we are first displaying, this is the SOMI of Midwives, that is the Society of Midwives India 15th National Conference, which is organized by the SOMI Kerala chapter. So we are displaying, and they have invited you all to participate and register for the Society of Midwives India 15th National Conference. So we'll again display it once more, and we'll circulate among Maharashtra Midwifery WhatsApp also, so that everyone of us will register for this particular event. So we are starting with today's first topic, that is introduction of birth companion at facility. So the speaker of today for the first topic is Professor Dr. Sudha Reddy ma'am, who completed her BSc Nursing from College of Nursing Armed Force Medical College, Pune, MSc from Keli Society College of Nursing, Belgavi, and MPhil from Mahe Manipal, and PhD from National Consortium of PhD in Nursing. Total 22 years of experience in teaching. She is the founder principal of Keli's Institute of Nursing Science, Hubli, and the part-time project coordinator and academic counselor for Indira Gandhi IGNO for BSc Nursing students, and principal investigator for the UKERI project between University of East Anglia, UK, as well as the Keli University. She visited various international places for the various projects, master training of various government projects, BOS member of various universities, facilitated as best teacher for the year 2013-14 by the Keli Society and Keli University, honored with Gurukula Chakravarti Award on the occasion of Gurukul Utsav 2017, honored with Teacher of Teachers Award on 5th September 2019 by the Keli Academy. She is a life member of several professional organizations, presents at several national and international papers at international and national level, organized and attended various conferences and workshops, published several papers for the national and international journals. She is a PhD guide and ethical committee member and advisory board member for the national journals, co-editor for the Handbook of Neonatal Nursing, published by the Department of Nursing, Department of Neonatology, Kelly's Hospital, contributed 2 chapters to the textbook of Nursing Research Biostatistics, published by the Vision Health Science publisher. So she's an eminent personality and a good speaker. So over to you, ma'am, for the today's session.
Very good morning to you. Thank you, Preeti. And it's indeed a very, very nice morning, because when I look at the list of participants and panelists, I feel that I'm at home with my professional colleagues. And a very big thank you to Society of Midwives India, and especially the office bearers of the Maharashtra chapter. All of them, my seniors and colleagues, Madam Mangala Joshi, Dr. Supriya, and Jasmine Jesse. And a lot of regards to the chairman of MGM and Dr. Shashank Dalvid, Vice Chancellor. I met him during online. I did have a session with him during the DY Patil academic audit, and all the other members, and also Prabha ma'am, Preeti, and Dipali, who all have been doing a wonderful job. And I was looking through yesterday's schedule, and I really missed out on the keynote address, the Mani ma'am's talk, Neelima's talk, Supriya's talk. I indeed missed out on many things. Dr. Rita, Manisha, and Sujata Sawant, all of them are so good in their fields, and it's always when you sit with them and listen to them, something new adds up to your experience. And today's speaker, I'm so glad Pravina is here, Usha ma'am, Supriya, Nancy, and Prachi. I know all of them. Supriya I may not have met, but otherwise जितने भी photos हैं यहाँ आपके brochure में, I think I've met all of them in different conferences. And then I'm really very glad to be here. And every time when a topic is given, I can just go on talking. But इस बार जो topic दिया ना, तो ऐसा topic दिया मुझे, introduction to birth companion, support from husband and family members. Rightly you said, Preeti, ki hota nahi hai, it doesn't happen. But let's see how we can make it happen, and what are the challenges which we can face. So we all know, I start with my presentation. Like they say, Matra Devo Bhavo, that is the motto of SOMI. And remembering all my mentors, I just start this session. It's a very challenging topic for all of us, क्योंकि अभी तो हम एक midwifery का identity बनाने में जुटे हुए हैं, and we are struggling, and the last 2-3 years have been good. The national midwifery guidelines have come up, and these training centers are coming up, national and state level. So we are in the proper direction. Midwifery has awakened the policymakers in India. So there's a global interest now in improving the quality of maternal and newborn care, including initiating, supporting, and sustaining programs designed to improve the quality of maternal health care. And internationally, they're available, but how do we customize them to the Indian setting is a challenge for us here. And this includes a very, very strong focus on respectful care as an essential component of high quality care. So we all know how much we are talking about respectful maternity care. And all of you who are working in the government setup know about it, because जो लक्ष्य guidelines है labor room के लिए, वहाँ पे there's lot of emphasis on respectful maternity care, and you have to download lot of material from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website, put those on your labor room walls, and have those material in your midwifery lab, so that your students and teachers also know what is all this Lakshya guidelines. I didn't know about it as a private teacher of a private nursing college, because our labor rooms they may be meeting the criteria of Lakshya guidelines, but they are officially not Lakshya accredited. So that is one interesting experience which I and my team had when we were applying for the National Midwifery Training Center, which we didn't get because we didn't have enough number of they expected more than 6,000 normal deliveries. So वो एक reason था. So this is a little bit which I will be sharing with my experience in every slide. And Lakshya mein, there is a talk about the labor companionship, birth companionship, which is a key component of providing respectful maternity care. And this has been recommended most recently as a part of WHO recommendations on intrapartum care to have a positive childbirth experience, and is also included as one of the WHO standards for improving the quality of maternal and newborn care in health facilities. So you Google respectful maternity care, you get lots and lots of material on it, and we have included it in our syllabus, like because we are deemed to be university, every 3 years we revise the syllabus. So we included it long back, I think in the last syllabus revision, respectful maternity care, obstetric violence, and all those things. Now, why do we need birth companion? Little bit of studies from different countries. The qualitative evidence synthesis analyzed 51 studies from 22 countries and revealed that birth companions played a number of roles in supporting women. Because Government of India will suddenly not start propagating it. Lot of studies they have all the policy makers and the planners have done and found out कि नहीं ये तो midwifery भी चाहिए इंडिया में और birth companion भी चाहिए इंडिया में. So they provide informational support about the process of childbirth and bridge the communication gaps between the clinical staff and women. Who? The birth companions. Companions also provide practical support, including encouraging women to remain mobile during labor, providing emotional support and non-pharmacological pain relief such as massage and meditation. तो ये सारी चीजें होती हैं, कहीं जगह होती हैं, कहीं जगह नहीं होती हैं. But this has proved because if you look at the government guidelines, every government hospital has separate midwifery-led labor room where they say कि women have to move during labor, they have to take different positions, lot of emotional support and massage. Like I remember when I was in AFMC, one of my teachers, Madam Piyu Mary, she had a difficult labor. I mean, she was in a lot of pain and she used to, because she was a midwifery teacher, she used to walk around, hold the wall, brace her pain. तो मैं देखती थी कि मैम कितना दर्द कैसे सहती है और आई वाज जस्ट अ स्टूडेंट. फिर मैं बोलती थी मैम थोड़ा सा आपको मसाज कर दूं क्या. उनका ऑक्सीपिटो पोस्टीरियर था तो फिर हम लोग जब वो ब्रेस करती थी और इन बिटवीन पेन्स, क्योंकि पेन के दौरान तो यू कैन मसाज, सो इन बिटवीन पेन वी यूज्ड टू मसाज हर and give lot of support to her क्योंकि मैम थी and she was a midwifery teacher, and once she delivered the baby she always tells Sudha Surti Bhavi, I was Sudha Surti Bhavi then, you turn my posterior position to anterior C. So this is one example I feel कि कितना उनको अच्छा लगा होगा. Another example जो मैं I want to tell is कि when I delivered in a private hospital, there was nobody. I was a case of PIH, primary, a long prolonged labor. इतना पेन था, pitocin drip, I couldn't tolerate the labor pains मतलब. And there was nobody with me, you know, in the labor room. I was all alone. And there was one safai wali maushi who used to come in वो dustbin उठाने के लिए, और I used to just call her and hold her hand and I used to tell Maushi, आप please मत जाओ यहाँ से, मेरे साथ रहो, please मेरे साथ रहो, because you have personally experienced it, so I will vouch for it, and I know we really require someone to be there. So you imagine if it is a technical person who is supporting you in labor, or if it is your own life partner, how great it would be. But that Maushi, I cannot forget her today, so much so that I'm mentioning her in this seminar. And then we all have studied, all of us who have done our masters in OBG, we all have studied Reader Martin, family-centered maternity care, वो different methods हम सब ने पढ़े हैं ना, Lama's technique, Kitzinger technique, Bradley's, फिर vivid imagery, meditation, water births, we all have studied, but unfortunately India में it has to still seep in and come in. So these companions, they are advocates for the women who speak up in support of her and her preferences. यहाँ हमको कौन पूछता है preferences? I was like only in a lithotomy position. I couldn't move. I couldn't. A big monitor was put on my abdomen, NST monitoring. So nobody could say what I want to do. Same thing. Every woman in our labor room, we see, we go for rounds. हर table में laboring mothers रहते हैं. 10 PGs interns उनके आसपास. But who is their companion there in real sense? एक या दो staff nurses जो भागते रहते हैं because shortage of staff. Who is there to stand and talk to them? And the labor companions also will help women feel in control and build their confidence through praise, reassurance, and continuous physical presence. कोई रहा लेबर कंपेनियन और बोलेगा हाँ यू आर डूइंग ग्रेट, यस यू आर बियरिंग इन द पेन, टेक डीप ब्रेथ्स, यस यू आर डूइंग ग्रेट. हस्बैंड रहा तो वो उसका पसीना पोछेगा, ही विल जस्ट गिव हर अ हग इन बिटवीन एंड से या यू डिड ग्रेट. जो कुछ हमने एंटीनेटल बर्थिंग क्लासेस में सीखा था, आई एम एबल टू रिमेम्बर एंड आई एम एबल टू टेल यू यार यू आर डूइंग ग्रेट. तो ऐसी चीजें इंडिया में आनी जहाँ पे मेल आर नॉट अलाउड इन द लेबर रूम, बड़ा बड़ा लिखा रहता है. अ लिटिल it may take time, but then at least we can have, we midwives staff who work in the labor room right now can be the labor companions for them. In general, companionship appeared to help women to have a more positive birth experience. My birth experience was so bad, so horrible. It was a vacuum delivery, a huge episiotomy, nobody around me. My baby was not crying. It was kept in a cold tray and I could see, arey, ek kapda bhi nahi hai. This was the condition in a private hospital. I mean, not my KLE. It was a private nursing home. और I said, मैंने कितने बेबीज डिलीवर किए हैं, कितने अच्छे से एपिसोटमीज किए हैं, कितना बात किया है मॉम से, और क्या है यहाँ, देयर इज नोबडी. सो रियली कंपेनियनशिप, जो मेरा तो बहुत खराब बर्थ एक्सपीरियंस था. सो let us see that, let us give a very positive birth experience to the women who come to us in labor through us, our teachers and the staff nurses and our students. Now, who are these birth companions? Birth companions are women, ek jagah pe likha hai, birth companions are women who have experienced the process of labor and provide continuous one-to-one support to other women experiencing labor and childbirth. But birth companions can also be the husbands. Then there is a very, very common term, doulas. You know, I don't know if all of you know that there are birth networks all over India. So we are SOMI. SOMI is an organization vouching for midwifery in India and normal safe motherhood. And then we have the nursing colleges where you teach midwifery, PCBSc, GNM, MSc, BSc. And then you have NPs and other things happening now. And then you have a third parallel thing where you have birth networks in every state. So if you just Google and see Mumbai birth network, Bangalore birth network, they have their own huge revolution which has been happening for years together. They have connection with foreign midwives. They have a home, midwifery-led home. I had been to one in Bangalore, which is run by Asha Kilaru and Nora Krop, who are basically do up and down from US. And then there is a Meghna Naidu, and they have physiotherapists, and there is a girl who is an engineer or architect who has designed the birth unit. But they are hunting for a midwife. You know, midwife ही नहीं है इंडिया में, मतलब कि जो confidently बोले हाँ मैं आपके birthing home में आके काम करूँगी and I will help. So they were hunting the last time when I spoke to them. So that is one thing which we all should be aware of. And there are huge people who have created history. If you start looking from north of India down, Usha madam is here. She started with her nursing students a small center, SWA, which she must have spoken to you about. Then you have Avita Fernandez. She's an obstetrician and gynecologist. We need many like her. Unke sath Indy Kaur, who was a midwife from RCM, Royal College of Midwives, UK, who came, and they have created a revolution. Whether we accept it or not, they have created a pathway for government to see कि ऐसा भी होता है midwifery का setting. Then we have Vijaya Krishnan, we have others in Kerala, there's a birthing home. So this is what is happening, which all of you should know. So कभी भी ऐसे clinical postings या educational visits रहे, find out about it and at least let the students get oriented to such centers. And then there are doulas working with them. Doulas are non-medical professionals who center their care and focus on women and her partner, ensuring both of them are comfortable and following lead when needed and guiding women when needed. So doulas are different. They are not as educated as midwives. उनकी जो degree हमारे जितनी qualified नहीं है. They have a small training. Anybody, a physiotherapist can do a doula training, go abroad for some months, do and come and be a doula, official, legalized doula. पर हम midwives होके उनसे hierarchy में ऊपर होके we are not doing our work, because I'll tell you, India में we all agree, somewhere over the years we have lost the art and the skill of midwifery. And then talking about the birth companion, what is the prerequisite for being a birth companion? Birth companion Indian setting में has to be a female relative, क्योंकि husband को तो बिल्कुल नहीं अंदर जाने देंगे वो, and preferably who has undergone the process of labor. And in facilities where privacy protocols are followed in the labor room, the husband of the pregnant woman can be allowed as a birth companion. It is allowed in those birthing villages. Husbands are there, and I have seen a lot of videos of a intensivist, a doctor whose husband was with her in, I think, in Kerala, in the birthing village. So हमने देखे हैं उनके vignettes. So it's happening. And she should not suffer from any communicable diseases, and she should wear clean clothes, जो भी birth companion होंगे. She should be willing to stay with the pregnant women throughout the process of labor. She should not interfere in the work of hospital staff and the treatment procedures, and not attend to the other women in the labor room. So ये basic requisites हैं एक birth companion के. And पर इंडिया में जो, not only in India, हर जगह, what are all the barriers in implementing birth companionship? एक तो women and their families, there's a social stigma कि कोई अंदर नहीं जाना चाहिए, वहां देखना नहीं चाहिए, नजर लग जाएगा, या means it is very unpleasant to be there. And the healthcare providers, like 2 studies, one from Nigeria and one from Finland, reported that healthcare providers had a very negative attitude about the importance of emotional and spiritual support during labor. And in several other studies, nurses and midwives expressed concerns that incorporating lay birth support could result in women being less cooperative with hospital staff. अभी हम ही लोग, अभी जब मैं जाती हूँ लेबर रूम राउंड्स में, आई सी अ वुमन इज ऑल अलोन और उसकी एनएसटी लगा हुआ है उसको, और फिर आई जस्ट गो टॉक टू हर, आप कैसे हो, चिंता मत करो, जोर जोर से मत रो, आपका एनर्जी चला जाएगा, डीप ब्रेथ, लंबी सांस लो और लेफ्ट साइड में सो जाओ, आपके बच्चे के लिए अच्छा है, इतने सारे लोग हैं यहाँ पे, सब ठीक होगा. व्हेन आई टॉक नो, सब लोग ऐसे मुझे घूर घूर के देखते हैं कि मैं क्या बात कर रही हूँ. आई मीन यहाँ पे कल्चर ही नहीं है, शर्म आती है बात करने में कि पेशेंट से बात कर रहे हैं, पेशेंट को इतना सब बिजी रहते हैं, तो वो एक कल्चर ही नहीं है, मतलब विच वी रियली नीड टू डेवलप, टॉक टू देम, कि इट रियली मेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस इफ यू स्टैंड एंड होल्ड देयर हैंड, इट डज मेक अ डिफरेंस. और जो हेल्थ सिस्टम फैक्टर्स, वो तो इंडिया में सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है, हेल्थ सिस्टम factors. In order to implement a policy supporting birth companions, health facilities may need to allocate resources or adjust aspects of management. The considerations may include physical space for labor companions and privacy in labor rooms. है कि नहीं, बड़ा labor room चाहिए. अगर आप हर individual woman को labor में, if she's undergoing labor, you want to give her privacy. That is what Lakshya guidelines say, कि individual room होना चाहिए, privacy होना चाहिए, और वो जो बर्थ कंपेनियन के लिए भी जगह होनी चाहिए, वो भी. और यहाँ पे अगर एक लेबर रूम में 10 बेड्स हैं, 12 बेड्स हैं, यहाँ सोनावाने जैसे पुणे के हॉस्पिटल्स जहाँ हम जाते थे, वहां पे तो यहाँ वहाँ कितने बेड्स हैं, और पट 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 डिलीवरी हो रहा है, और इतने सारे लोग खड़े, कहाँ किसको कौन बर्थ कंपेनियन, हमारा डिलीवरी हो जाए फटाफट, वही काफी रहता है. तो बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस हैं, हेल्थ सिस्टम फैक्टर्स हैं, और आज तक बर्थ को इतना इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं दिया गया है इंडियन हेल्थ केयर सिनेरियो में. अगर मैं आपको बताऊं, there is one lady, Augustine Kohlberg, who is there in India now. She is with the Bangalore Birth Network. You know, she gives classes on entrepreneurship in midwifery-led labor rooms. Business कैसे करना, कैसे set करना, क्या infrastructure, कहाँ invest करना, कैसे. So it's a multi-million-dollar business to have birthing villages, midwifery-led birthing units abroad. She has come here to teach that entrepreneurship. If you go to Facebook and ask her for a friend request, she will. So she's so good. She does podcasts of midwives all over the world. And she's in India doing this because maybe Nora and Asha had contacts. They had called her. I know her through Facebook contact. I'm in touch with her. So ऐसी चीजें हो रही हैं related to labor room or midwifery-led care unit. And starting antenatal birthing classes or parentcraft classes जो हम miles में पढ़ते थे, रीडर मार्टिन में पढ़ते थे, अगर हम ऐसे करें, अगर नर्सिंग कॉलेजेस इनिशिएटिव ले और ओपीडी में डॉक्टर से पूछ के हम करें, वो कितना कोऑपरेट करेंगे मालूम नहीं, क्योंकि सिजेरियन का बिजनेस ही बंद हो जाएगा, नॉर्मल ज्यादा होने लगे. तो सारे एजुकेटेड पेरेंट्स, इंजीनियर्स हो, डॉक्टर्स हो, हस्बैंड वाइफ्स, दे वुड रियली लाइक टू कम, अंडरगो द ट्रेनिंग, know what is this Lamaze technique, what is this breathing and all that, and participate and have a very, very, very positive birth experience, and take out the baby, keep it on the mother's abdomen. It's happening, and it can happen in India, and steps towards this are happening, but not by us. Unfortunately, not by the nursing college teachers in private institutes or the private hospitals or the government hospitals. Government hospitals, though they are far ahead of us, at least they have Lakshya certified labor rooms. But these NGOs who are working, Birth India networks, they are doing all that. Parent craft classes, अच्छा सा एक वेटिंग रूम जहाँ पे हस्बैंड वाइफ आते हैं, बात करते हैं, उनको न्यूट्रिशियस डाइट मैं देख के आई हूँ 1-2 जगह पे. एंड people are ready, you know. Nandan Nilkani, Aadhaar card wale jo Infosys, his wife, she wants to fund colleges who want to do this. They were in touch with me. I didn't call them back कि जब normal deliveries अभी COVID में भी कम हो गए, उनको बुला के मैं करूँगा. और लेबर नॉर्मल डिलीवरीज होनी चाहिए ना पहले इनफ कि हम ऐसा कुछ कर सके. तो धीरे धीरे we are also into it. Everybody at your own level are struggling for it. And then there are these social and political factors. Some national and facility level policies, they forbid the presence of lay companions during labor. Additionally, hiring $1 for continuous labor support may not be financially feasible for some women. इसलिए वो NGOs, they have started in India, but in hospitals, I don't think any hospitals has officially hiring dollars. And we as midwives should not support it because we are more technical, we have learned it, we have the knowledge. Skills is a big gray area. If we are enough staffed, I don't think that anybody else can manage the women as we can. इसके अलावा पॉजिटिवली मुझे तो ऐसे लगता है कि प्रॉमिसिंग फ्यूचर है, because aside from the barriers to implementation that few studies identified, many studies have reported positive views towards birth companions from women, communities, health workers and other stakeholders. And बहुत सारे international organizations have expressed support for birth companions as an evidence-based practice. See, so important it is. It is an evidence-based practice that should be scaled up worldwide, but every country, every region has its own challenges which they need to customize and sort out. And across disciplinary collaboration, support from national and facility level policymakers and additional advocacy efforts are essential to ensure that every woman has a birth companion of a choice during labor and delivery. If we take up the Ayurveda people, like we were having some collaboration with Thomas Jefferson University, and we said birthing center करेंगे. आयुर्वेदा का तो हमारे आयुर्वेदा हॉस्पिटल का लेबर रूम तो ताला लगा है क्योंकि सब सिजेरियन कोई नॉर्मल आ नहीं रहा था. मैंने बोला सर चलो हम लोग करते हैं आपके वो गर्भ संस्कार और आपका वो जो पॉलिटिसीज और आप क्या क्या लगाते हैं और मसाजेस करते हैं और फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट को अगर ले लिया और हम लोग मिडवाइव्स और ऑब्स्टेटिशियंस जो वी कैन, हम अकेले करेंगे तो नहीं होगा. कोई भी केस कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो गया तो मिडवाइफरी चला जाएगा इंडिया से एक स्ट्रोक में. सो वी नीड टू बी वेरी इंटेलिजेंट एंड स्मार्ट एंड वी नीड टू डू अ टीम वर्क फर्स्ट एंड देन ग्रेजुअली मूव आउट ऑफ इट इन अनदर 5, 7, 10 years. तो स्टार्ट करना है तो वी नीड अ टीम एंड एवरीबडी. आजकल तो सब डीम्ड यूनिवर्सिटीज में इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी कोलैबोरेशन, इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी फंडिंग ये सब है. तो this is one idea which my experience and this I can share. We can do this at our facilities. जो भी women who are supported by birth companion, it leads to improved communication, encourage self-care, it helps dealing with distress, it gives lot of support and reassurance and lot of confidentiality and privacy to the patient. And support from husband and family members की बात करें तो irrespective of a cultural background, the process of labor and childbirth, especially for primary parents women, is frequently perceived as a fearful event. सच में fearful है. तो मेलिंडर एंड लॉरी बोल रहे हैं, मैंने तो एक्सपीरियंस किया, मुझे बहुत डर लगता. Thank God I was only one time mother. But the hospital environment where childbirth takes place includes a plethora of equipments used by the healthcare professionals that is often unfamiliar to the laboring women. And who has a time to explain to her ये है ये वो है, कौन करता है. हम 1-2 नर्सेज रहती हैं, वो भागती रहती हैं, वो भी GNM या BSc नर्सेज. हम MPhil PhD करके we know all this, पर हम कहाँ जाके लेबर रूम में काम करते हैं. We want to sit in our offices and just talk. So there's a lot of difference between education and practice, having this knowledgeable and skilled people there. But I admire people like Dr. Jyoti Clara and many other people from Association of Nurse Executives of India, where a lot of PhDs and people who have done MBA are working in the clinical side, you know, and making a lot of difference in the corporate setup. In additionally, जो medical jargon हम use करते हैं और जो procedures, interventions होते हैं जो हम लोगों के लिए भी intimidating होते हैं क्योंकि अगर वो NST है, उसका ग्राफ आता है, उसको रीड करना हमको आता है क्या? देखा, जब I was a master student, I did my masters in 98. I was in first year 90. So we didn't have a center. टीचर्स नहीं थे, तो हम लोग को सेंट जॉन्स भेजा था प्रैक्टिकल एग्जाम के लिए, मुझे और मेरी बैचमेट थी संगीता को। तो वहां पे NST इंटरप्रेट करो करके बोला हमको। थैंक गॉड हम लोग सेल्फ लर्निंग करते थे, सीखते थे, तो पता था वो मिरर इमेज होता है, वो कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस आते हैं तो फीटल हार्ट रेट बढ़ता है, और जैसे ही यूट्राइन कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस कम होते हैं तो कम होता है, तो वो रोम्बस में ऐसे कुछ तुक्का मार के वो पढ़ के बोल दिया था हम लोगों ने। बट देन डू वी एवर टीच दैट टू आवर स्टूडेंट्स टू इंटीमेट? नर्सेस का क्या होता है, वो NST मशीन में कुछ गिर गया, पानी गिर गया, वो ग्राफ मिट गया, कोई इक्विपमेंट टूट गया, तो वो डॉक्टर्स PG सब वो बेचारी नर्सेस को ब्लेम करके उसके ऊपर इंक्वायरी करके उसको पैसे भरो, यही होता है। बट नोबडी वांट्स टू टीच थिंग्स। तो ऐसे में वो पार्टनर को कहाँ रखेंगे, और वो क्या मतलब वो कितना इंटीमेट होगा? Yet during this important life transition, women in many countries or cultures are separated from their families. अलग हो जाते हैं, हस्बैंड से अलग चली जाती है, माँ के घर डिलीवरी के लिए आ जाती है। तो ये सारे हैं situations जो which will contribute to a sense of isolation that can lead to increasing maternal anxiety and stress. One of my students had done a nice study on maternal anxiety and stress. एक junk का एक anxiety scale है which she had used to find this out. So we can do a lot of psychometric studies on this laboring women and how will it help to have a birth companion. एक दो slides और हैं. There's an evidence that the cyclic and upward spiraling relationship among fear, tension and pain, which was proposed by Dick Reed, may account for escalating labor pain in that increased tension and anxiety during labor, which can contribute to increased pain. ये होता है, some of us have experienced it, and every patient, some of them do experience it. अगर उनको हम explain नहीं करते हैं, they don't know what's happening to them, ये सब होता है. An explanation is that excessive anxiety increases an endogenous release of catecholamines, which reduces blood flow to and from the placenta and restrict fetal oxygen supply and waste removal, and reduces effectiveness of uterine contractions and slows down the labor process. So imagine anxiety क्या-क्या करता है physiologically. Fetal distress हो जाता है. We don't know how to manage fetal distress. क्या है fetal distress? मॉनिटर करते हैं क्या हम लोग? हम भागते रहते हैं, यहाँ वो अकेले रहते हैं लेबर रूम में. So टाइम पे आइडेंटिफाई करना, ऑक्सीजन देना, लेफ्ट लेटरल पोजीशन देना, हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई इट, ये सारी चीजें वी नो. देन डू, एंड ये सब आइडेंटिफाई भी कर दिया तो डू वी एवर एसोसिएट विद एंजाइटी? नो. And the quality of support that women are given during labor has an enormous effect on their perceptions of their childbirth experiences. मैंने बोला ना, मैं बता रही हूँ आपको कि मेरा तो इतना हॉरिबल था, आई डोंट वांट टू बी अ मदर अगेन. सो ये जो एक बर्थ में जो एक्सपीरियंस हम मदर को देते हैं, दे कैरी इट विद देम, एंड सी इट इज ऑल एविडेंस एंड इट इज रिटन अबाउट. For example, the majority of Thai postpartum women at regional hospitals reported dissatisfaction with their intrapartum nursing care. This is a study, and 120 primary mother में ये study हुई थी, जहाँ पे there was a female family member throughout labor, and it revealed that shorter duration of active labor and enhanced maternal satisfaction with the childbirth experience. And there was another qualitative study which was conducted at Ghana, where a male partner जो 33 years का था, he said, I don't have much knowledge on it, that it matlab birth, and I don't need to know because doctors are there to help us. A 27-year-old mother, for instance, said, I think he's supposed to be in beside me to feel for me and to tell me, sorry dear, in the period of labor pains. कि अरे sorry, मैंने ही तुझे pregnant किया, तुझे इतना pain हो रहा है. He must tell me that. बोलना चाहिए. These are all their perceptions कि why you need a male partner. If she says it's too strong, I'm scared, then a midwife there is telling, you're doing fine, labor is supposed to be strong. And say, this is the photo itself is so convincing. अगर मेरे पास ऐसे कुछ होता तो I would be so happy, you know. See, and उनमें से एक 37-year-old male partner ने बोला, I understand it matlab male partner involvement to mean that man should be present and take care of the women during childbirth. It also implies accompanying my wife to the hospital and providing financial support to ensure the baby is born safely. उतना ही उसका काम है. और even making provisions for blood अगर चाहिए, investigation, वो सब मेरा काम है. He doesn't think कि वहां रहना चाहिए, क्योंकि उन्होंने सीखा नहीं है पेरेंट क्राफ्ट इंडिया के जैसे. They don't know about it. So उनका जो ये था. And male partner involvement is about the women's husband or spouse taking part in the labor and delivery process of their baby by involving himself in all the activities of the delivery process and providing the needed care and support to the woman. ये एक health professional जो 29-year-old थी, probably a midwife, she told this. So thoda bahut jo I feel ki nursing curriculum mein we can encourage evidence based practice with focus on presence of birth partner, husband, female companion, doula, or even a 4th-year student ki you be there as a birth companion, and do multi-centric projects by undergraduates, postgraduates. अगर हम लोग ही यहाँ पे 10 यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, हम लोग एक कोविड के बाद अपने 4th-year स्टूडेंट्स को वहाँ कंपेनियन के जैसे रख के, and then we can have qualitative studies, share it, and do a national level study, give it to the government of India या अपने management को, and then we can tell कि professional dollars क्या होते हैं in the curriculum. And antenatal birthing classes जैसे set and run by nursing college can be done. It is very challenging. मैं आपको बोल रही हूँ मैं कुछ करना चाहती हूँ, but then my faculty should feel कि हाँ करना है. वो बोलेंगे ऑलरेडी NAC का इतना काम है, ये है वो है, और ये क्या बैठ के बोलती रहती है, हम क्यों करें. So you should have a like-minded team who will say हाँ मैम हम लोग करेंगे, and that is where we can show to NAC and others this is one innovative practice which we are trying to do, and this will definitely help the women in labor. ठीक है cesarean में चले जाएंगे पर उनका anxiety और सब तो कम होगा ना. Husband का childbirth में involvement will enhance the responsibility and a general understanding and acceptance of the idea of assisting their partners in maternal health needs, and cultural norm of childbirth being the domain of women as an inhibiting male partner involvement in skilled birth care needs to be addressed. क्योंकि husbands में inhibition है, हम लोग नहीं उनको आने देते. This can also be done. मैं एक बात बोलना चाहती हूँ यहाँ पे कि when I was in college, I used to read lot of Mills and Moon romances, Harlequin romances and all that. अभी तक था मेरे पास वो नॉवल कहाँ गया पता नहीं. उसमें this guy is a photographer, जो एक एक्ट्रेस का बर्थिंग का फोटोग्राफी करने के लिए, वीडियो फोटोग्राफी करने के लिए लेबर रूम में आया होता है. And the heroine is a midwife जो कितने confidently with skilled hands just trying to negotiate and get the delivery done. So he falls in love with her confidence and her skill and seeing a newborn born. So that was a very nice experience of mine, reading in a novel about it. And then now I watch in Netflix a web series called The Virgin River. It's about a village where a river flows and there is a guy who works in the pub, runs a pub. And then there is this heroine who is a nurse practitioner in midwifery, and how she deals with cases and how he observes her and likes her. So it's very interesting. I watched that. You can also watch that, The Virgin River. So ऐसे हैं literature में, movies में examples where they really show कि क्या होता है. Then most women desired a companion during labor to attend to their needs. This is a summary of my presentation और जो भी कुछ यहाँ से वहाँ से literature मिला. They wanted a labor companion, and reasons for not desiring companions included embarrassment and fear of gossip and abuse. And most providers recommended birth companionship, but stated that it is often not possible due to privacy concerns and other reasons, mainly related to distrust of companions. और अगर हम बुलाएंगे, हम लोग कैसे तो भी करेंगे, बड़ा एपिसोड में दे देंगे, बेबी नहीं रो रहा होगा, और रिलेटिव पैनिक करेगा. तो ऐसे सारे कंसर्न्स हैं, इसलिए हम अलाउ नहीं करते हैं. तो ये सारी चीजें थी for pro and con of doing this. And thank you so much. These are the references, and I would like to name Asha Bhatt. She's my faculty and she's also the Karnataka State Chapter Secretary. She helped me with it. I told her, Asha, ऐसा एक अजीब सा presentation दिया है मेरे को, male companion जो इंडिया में है ही नहीं. Please find out and help me with this. A little bit me, little bit her. We try to get some evidence, and of course my experience always helps me with my presentations. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak and talk on a topic which I was fearing to tread upon, but thank you so much. I'm stopping the screen share.
Thank you, ma'am. In participants, if there is any queries or any questions, you can ask with ma'am.
Charulata has written, good morning, ma'am. Yes, birth companion is necessary. In 1990, my Maushi was with me in labor room, who was a trained nurse senior. I delivered in government hospital where she was working, Sassoon General Hospital, Pune. Yeah, I also feel कि मेरे experience, you need someone there. Thank you, Preeti.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, surely we need someone during that labor pain. That is each one of us experience. It is our personal experience. Thank you, ma'am, giving a nice as well as elaborative explanation with evidence and the need for the support from the husband as well as the family members, and how we can decrease our anxiety, and this anxiety will decrease of anxiety will help the fetus to come out in a healthier way. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
My regards to Brigadier Mala Singh. She's also attending, my teacher.
Yeah, she's
And,
there.
lot of regards to Mani ma'am, Usha ma'am, Mala Singh ma'am, and everyone from MGM.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Supriya. Hi, ma'am. Hi. Sujata, Nilima, everybody's there. You know, it's so nice to connect with people this way. COVID has actually made us all more connected to each other, I think.
Yes, of
Thank
course.
you. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Really?
we move on.
Yes, ma'am. Mani ma'am will kill me. Chal, bye-bye.
Yeah, we move on to the next session. That is, it's an interesting session now. Establishment of the midwifery-led care units, which is shared by the two speakers. So our first speaker is Professor Praveena ma'am. She's a graduate nurse, a postgraduate in the obstetric gynecological nursing, as well as postgraduate diploma in education management from SNDT Women's University. Has 28 years of experience in nursing, of which 26 years of experience in teaching experience. She was active member of SNA and NSS as a student, as well as now TNAI, IANN, NRSI, as well as SOMI. She has worked as assistant editor for the NRSI journal. She was holding a post of chapter secretary SOMI Maharashtra chapter. In the growth of SOMI, she has worked hardly in the growth of SOMI in Maharashtra and selected as president TNI Pune city branch. She's a master trainer for IMNCI as well as NRP. She has organized many camps, workshops, training, as well as the conferences, and she's in her academic credit. She is chosen as a BOS member of various universities. Ma'am is a faculty as well as CAP director of Bharati Vidyapeeth deemed to be university. She is recognized as INC inspector and was selected for the NAC as an inspector in the year 2015. She was invited by the Meraldalen University, Sweden, on the faculty exchange program and currently working as a professor in Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Nursing, Pune. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Can I start my screen share?
Ma'am, you're not able to hear
Good
you.
morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. The topic given to me today is challenges faced by the midwives to establish a midwifery-led care unit. Now, I'm really thankful to the organizers and especially Madam Prabha Dasila, because when I was the chapter secretary in, I think 3 years ago, and she had promised that she would like to host a conference. And today it is happening. Like yesterday I was there with you all and I was feeling so good to be a part of it. And thanks to all the organizers and Shripriya to remember me and allowing me to, speak for this. But this topic that we have here is we are yet to have a lot of midwifery-led care units. So this topic is kind of new to us. So knowing about it, then knowing what to do is one of our biggest challenge. Now, Dipali, are you operating from there or am I operating from here? Achha, okay. Now this is my college and this is where I'm working. Okay, next slide, please. I can manage my slides. I don't know.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm managing.
So you're managing. Okay, fine. What is a midwifery-led care? Now, midwifery-led care is a high certainty, evidence-based strategy to improve maternity care. The universal philosophy of midwives is to emphasize care that promotes normal physiological pregnancy and labor, supports the natural ability of the woman to experience birth with minimum or no routine interventions. Next, please. Now, midwife-led care. What does it? Midwifery-led care is practice of holistic care guided by the ethical principles of justice, equity, respect for human dignity. We heard all this yesterday from Nilima Madam, and their practice is grounded in continuous education and use of scientific research and evidence. This is something which is lacking. We are having a lot of scientific research and evidence, but are we having it at the ground level? Are we generating research from the ground level? Some things are there, yes, for a huge country, but we are not having it in enough numbers. Now, a lot of global evidence that midwife-led care units are the safest for a low-risk woman. This is said through various studies by the WHO. A lot of data is available on this. Next, please. Now, what is the facility whereby midwifery-led care is provided to healthy pregnant women through antepartum, intrapartum, and postpartum period? Now, this is normal women. Generally, when they go for delivery, they come to the hospital. So does it need to be in the hospital? Or even if it is in the hospital, it should not look like the hospital. It should not smell like the hospital. And the woman should be not looked as a patient. And this care is coordinated by midwifery manager with a discrete identity where services are planned, managed, coordinated, and delivered by only midwives. Now, when we say midwifery managers, please be very careful about this. See, now who is managing our midwives? If you look at midwives, are managed by midwives, they're managed by nurses, they are managed by doctors. And when we go to our higher authorities, it is generally the doctor. Even in the INC, we did not have a lot of importance being given to midwife. So people did not understand the importance of midwives. It is normal. What is so great to be done about? And it is a normal delivery and nothing much needs to be done. That is what was the idea, probably. Next, please. Now, wait. One at a time, dear. Please go behind. We need to understand very clearly where we are. Only then we will know from where we have to start, where midwifery in India is. Next. And then we have to see where we want to reach. Now, government has given guidelines in midwifery, and one more click, please. And they're putting midwife at the top, midwife-led unit. And then there is a gap, you see, in between where we are and where we want to reach. One more click, please. Then we have to see what are the difficulties that we may face. Now, this is the topic actually given to me, but we are trying to look at it a little more holistically. Now, difficulties that we may face are not, even if we are not having the midwife-led care units, so many in India, but we have midwives all over the world. And the difficulties that we have faced are also similar to difficulties that we are likely to face. So experiences of the midwives in India and outside both are going to help us to identify what would be the difficulties that we may face. One more click, please. One more click, and then how to overcome these difficulties. Looking at what other countries have done. And if we are able to do this step by step with a time frame and all over the country, within no time we will be able to achieve this. But it is not so easy as it looks here, because even in developed countries, they're talking about they need more midwives than they have. Shortage is a universal phenomena. And how much more our midwife has to be strong to do these kind of activities. That is something we have to think about. Next slide, please. Now let us see at the midwifery situation in India. Now let's try to see who is a midwife. Since yesterday we are trying to discuss and many people have spoken about it, I would also like to highlight maybe just in one slide. One click more, please. We have council or the board, and we also have university where midwifery is taught. One more click, please. We have the A&M and GNM program in the board and the council, and we have BSc, PBBSc, MSc, PhD, and all the higher educations which are there in the university. Now, if you look at the A&M, can she anytime upgrade and become a university graduate? Is it possible for her? That kind of provision is not there. GNM, yes, we have a PBBSc program where she can do the graduation and then maybe go for higher studies. That is what will educationally empower the midwife. Now you look at, we are having so much of MSCs, PhD. We have a fairly good number of MSCs in the clinical area, also working in government hospitals. But then are they really utilized the way a master student should be or a staff should be working in the government organization? Now, this is what is the situation. And you see there's a big gap between who is holding the positions and posts and who is having a education. And that is why the A&M, poor thing, she's doing a lot of work. She has been given a lot of other work other than midwifery. She was trained basically to be a midwife, and then in between something happened. People realized it is important, but they're not feeling confident to go and manage in the villages. Then they said no, A&M's trainings will be given in the cities. They shall have to all go to the villages. So in between they were not allowing. Later on they said, okay, no, here also we have their need. And today we have A&Ms everywhere, including in psychiatry. She's the cheapest nurse or nursing assistant available, many private hospitals. And that is what is the misutilization of the A&M. Now, one click more, please. We have the traditional birth attendants and those who have also done a very good job, fantastic job, all that. But then we have realized training the traditional birth attendant, later on they were called as trained birth attendants, was not a very profitable or a feasible thing. It's very difficult to teach them infection control. But they were very caring. They were culturally competent. They were accepted by the community. They were confident to conduct home deliveries. And now we have the ASHA workers who are, many a times they are the children of or their daughter-in-laws of Dai, and they're saying, teach us this, we will do it. So will she be a midwife? What do you feel? In India, can ASHAs be upgraded to midwives? So no. Next click, please. So they are all out, and now government is talking about nurse practitioner in midwifery. One click more, one click more. So the traditional birth attendant and ASHAs and all that have gone. Now this NPM is a training. I think 2-3 batches have been trained. There was a pilot project in the West Bengal and Gujarat. Some things were happening. A lot of states have taken up, but in Maharashtra, we have not had NPM. Now, if you look at the current situation, there is a new education policy. What does it talk about midwifery? What does it talk about education in there, where they're talking about people who will be technically qualified and professionally qualified. So do we have that kind of thing in midwifery? If you look at the list above, who will be the technical midwife and who will be the professional midwife? the professional midwife is supposed to take the accountability and responsibility of the service. So will that be a situation? Now there are a lot of skill development courses that are happening. So are we going to have, doulas out of it? Are we going to have some assistants or midwifery associates, what they're talking about in the national midwifery bill? We have to be, they said that nothing much is given there. In fact, they have put the A&M over there, and A&Ms are very angry because they are independently working and they don't want to be called as associates. So in the National Nursing and Midwifery Bill, the new bill that is going to come very soon, these things have been discussed, and we have discussed about this in the past few months. One click more, please. Standards of midwifery education. How do we give education to the midwifery students? The dilution now is so much that you just watch and then it is considered that you have done. And that is what they enter. When they come and join a hospital, anybody is asking for their casebook and checking whether, like they have done it. When we have students come from PBPSC, just you interview with them, they say, how many deliveries have you conducted? I've seen 4 or 5. How many have you conducted? And this girl is coming from a busy government hospital in Mumbai. So it is not that, things are not available. I can understand if you're not seen a stoma in a remote place, but you're not seen a delivery, you're not conducted a delivery is not acceptable. So something is wrong somewhere. Next, please. One more click, please. Now, positions and posts in the government as well as the non-government. Very beautifully, madam, my previous speaker said that, like when she delivered in a private hospital and she had nobody. So in the government hospital, at least there are some trained midwives. In the non-government sector, we do not know. Like 50 years ago, I was told by a senior obstetrician in Pune that and that is what was the story in Mumbai also, more or less, all the obstetricians had their dais, ayamaushis, who used to conduct all the normal deliveries. If there is any problem, then the doctors would take over. So that is still continuing. The doctors train their own people and they are very comfortable with them. They talk very nicely, but then are they competent? Next, please. The setting. Now this, my next speaker is going to talk a little more in detail, but setting does matter. But this is, we have to take when we look at a holistic view, midwifery situation in India. One more, please, click. Licensing. Who is licensed to practice? What can a midwife do? What nobody else can do? And only the midwife will do. We have read all this in newspapers, no? Now, henceforth, the government has said that only midwives will conduct normal deliveries and hospital deliveries or institutional deliveries are made compulsory. Yet our students are not getting enough cases. So something is wrong somewhere. And when we are talking about licensing of the various cadres, when we are talking about cadres, when we said that midwives and midwifery managers, their supervisors and their seniors. So if you're having all that kind of cadres, what are they actually going to do? And who is responsible for what? Maybe 5 midwife-led units are under a very senior midwife. Are we having these kind of situations we have to really think about? So that is the midwifery situation in India. Next, please. Next, please. One more click. Now, challenges that are faced by the midwives globally. One more click, I think that for this slide. This is globally. This I have taken from Midwives' Voices and Midwife Realities. This was a study by the WHO, ICM, and White Ribbon Alliance. Next, please. One click more. Yeah. Hierarchies of power transformation and gender dynamics. Midwives are deeply frustrated by the realities. So see, this is not only our problem. Midwives and obstetricians world over have had a tussle. And they are deeply frustrated by the realities they experience that constrain their efforts. Importantly, they express how they are hindered through a lack of voice in creating the change and delivering the creative solution that they know are so badly needed. One click more. Midwives highlighted that power, agency, and status is important for midwifery personnel. Are the midwives in our country having a separate identity. You see, by default, every nurse is a midwife, and that midwifery has lost importance. Am I able to say that I am a midwife? And it is important for midwifery personnel if progress is to be made in delivering quality care. Next, please. Experience of disrespect, subordination, gender discrimination. So disrespect at work and in the community, one click more. Dipali, one click more. Lack of status and subordination by the medical profession, one click more. And discrimination against women and gender equality. See, midwifery is not considered important because it is specifically a care needed only by women. Most of the midwives were also women. So this is a gender equality. And if you see in the women's issues worldwide, when teachers have joined in, because many teachers are also women, they have got a lot of importance now and respect. But our midwives have not joined with the women's group, and that is why we have been sidelined and nobody looks at these issues. So we need to voice out at the right place. Next, please. Professional barriers, one more click. And lack of opportunities for leadership is disempowering. So A&M joins in as an A&M, retires as an A&M, most of them. Some of them will go get a LHV training and will be promoted to be a supervisor. Now, there's a clear understanding of what midwifery involves is critical for change to take place. The seniors, the policymakers should understand and give importance to midwifery. And now it is happening. People are feeling it is important, but it is happening at the center. The states also have to take up because health is a state subject. Next, please. One click more. Perceived devaluation of midwifery combined with increasing medicalization of the birth and lack of leadership opportunities for senior midwifery staff disempowered the profession. So this is what is the story worldwide. Similar things in India, but we need to support our midwives. Next, please. Now let us see what is midwifery. Is a profession separate from nursing with regulations specifically for midwives, and that the midwives midwives should be policymakers. See, when I saw that in Sweden, when we had met Swedish midwives here, very proudly saying that we are midwives, and then she was also a member of parliament. So I said, do you have, like we have a teachers constituency, so do you have a midwives constituency? She was very surprised to hear that. And she said, no, nothing like that. We stand for the elections and people vote for us. I said, and we have gone to the parliament with the public support. I said, people vote for you? He said, yes, because they are our client. They are born in our hands and we are the first ones to hold them, and people believe us and they vote for us to be in the parliament. And when the midwife becomes the policy maker, there is a lot of positive change for midwifery. Next, please. One click more. It is also essential. Wait. That education planners and researchers have enough knowledge of the profession and scope of practice of midwives before making decisions on proving quality care. Like see yesterday, one boy was asking, who should be the midwifery teachers? If you see, midwifery teacher was, like always sidelined. Maybe if I talk about some maybe 30-40 years ago, people wanted to teach everything else but midwifery, because life for midwifery teacher is very difficult. I remember when we were practicing in KM hospital, the midwifery teacher there, Madam Sunita Kulkarni, used to sit away from the other teachers. She was sitting more, her office was more near the labor room and always correcting. And my mother also had been a midwifery teacher in Vadia maternity. So I've seen that they have been so busy as teachers. They had 4 batches to teach. She had 4 batches to teach. And she is to ensure that every student is, learning. But they had a very good system with the hospital. If the student conducts a delivery, that student's name will be written on the paper with the staff nurse. who was saying that I was there as an educated or the trained midwife there besides her. The tutor was not there. And only then she would get a signature in her case book. Now, this kind of a system, because the matron, the hospital, everybody was giving importance to this kind of education that the midwives are needing. Today, what is happening is the managers tell us, we have run a medical college, we know how. Our medical student also do not conduct deliveries. It is not necessary that a student nurse conducts deliveries. I have heard this in certain places. So I said, we have to fight at every level to see that our students get adequate experience. Next, please. Now, there are others also, like the socio-cultural barriers, harassment, unsafe accommodation, economic barriers, salaries are not comparable. In certain countries, they have to do other things other than midwifery also. And because midwifery does not come high on the political agenda, there is inadequate resourcing of midwifery services, and that the vital role of midwifery is not recognized, and therefore funding is not sufficient. Yeah, so this is what was the gist of what we had seen through that research. Next, please. Now, challenges that are faced by the midwives. One is changing the mindset. Blast. Stop here. Look at the midwife. She needs to be empowered. We need more in numbers as well as more stronger midwives. Also, she needs to be accountable. Today, a midwife is running away from the situation. It's very easy to transfer the patient to a higher center. Okay, stop here. They should be made accountable. I have done this. Do they sign what they have done? So that kind of a situation should be there. Next is the midwifery educators and midwifery students. Do our students have a choice whether or not to learn midwifery? So we have got a bunch of students who, some of them really like midwifery, some of them don't like midwifery, but everybody has to learn midwifery. Then the educator. Like when I got connected with Somi, I was told that you should be skillful yourself. I tried to conduct deliveries myself, but it is not becoming possible because our administrative setup is such that I can't go very easily and say that I want to conduct deliveries wherever I am. They have been told that you have to conduct at least 12 deliveries, one per month. But I'm very sorry, I have not been able to do that. But maintaining your skill. Also, the attitude that we develop in the midwifery student, it depends on the midwifery educator's attitude also. The kind of books that we are using to teach midwifery. Now, Datta being a cheaper book, nothing wrong with Datta. Datta is very good, but for a medical student. But if for a midwifery student, we need to have midwifery books. The question papers that we set, do we have midwifery questions in the question paper? And if you ask those questions, ask your questions from Miles and tell the students this answer is available in Miles, or this answer is available in C.V. Raman, this is available in the Reader Martin. They will refer those books. The practicals that we conduct, for practice as well as the practical exam. So ultimately, students are exam oriented, but are we asking them those kind of questions which they will need it in practice later on? And finally, the syllabus. Our syllabus is very broad, but see whether we are teaching all those things. Like, see, there's a trends in midwifery, but many MSc students who come to us for maybe validity and other things, when I ask them, do you know about this? No, we have never heard. Do you know about midwifery-led care units? No. Do you know about guidelines to midwifery? No. Do you know about NRHM? No, that the community people learn more. We are gynae students. So what are we preparing is obstetrical nurses who will be working under the obstetrician and not as midwives, forget independent midwives. So, and finally, maybe changing the syllabus. One more clip, please. Administrators. Now, this is very, very important. Administrators, like say today, how they look at midwifery. Many times when there is shortage of staff, shortage is always there. The first staff to be picked is maybe from the postnatal ward, because babies have been looked after by the mothers and mothers can take care of themselves. They are normal. So nobody is needed. So one student can manage. If that is what is our idea, and routinely this has been done, or we feel it is important, I cannot move that staff. Her work over there is important. Now there's nobody in the labor room. So take out the labor room staff. So these kind of things we have to take care. The administrators have to ask for a low risk labor room in every place wherever we are working, and make the midwife in charge under the matron, and also facilitate collaboration with the doctors. Next point, please. The policy makers. Now, regulation for the private, like private hospitals, should we have the 70 to 80% of the healthcare needs are met by the private hospitals. All this respectful maternity care, Laksha guidelines, whatever, are for the government hospitals. When will they extend and go to the private hospitals, even for the staffing pattern? If it is there in the NABH, yes, then they will do. So there should be a collaboration between all these regulatory bodies, and that kind of thing, policies have to be made. And now we are talking about NPM, yes, but what about the already trained midwives in the country? What will happen to them, the ANMs and the GNMs? We have such a huge manpower. What can be done about them, or that will be totally scrapped off? I do not know. Next, please. Next, please. The obstetrician. See, they feel the midwife is a threat to them. There are many people who come and do MD Gynae OB just to run maternity homes and all. I tell them, I said, then you should do a course in midwifery. Or why should we waste an obstetrician for a normal delivery? But yet, in their private, there are no midwives. It is managed 24 hours by these people with untrained people. And when midwives had started, one of my colleague had told me, her aunt, who was an ANM in a small place, small town, had started a midwifery clinic. She was an ANM. The obstetricians there put in a court case over her, saying that she's not allowed to practice. But then she finally won the case. She was a popular midwife, and today the road is named in her name. So these kind of stories are also there. But when we see as people who start their private clinic, it is the ANM, maybe out of need, to maybe this thing, what is that? Very few instruments and few things you can conduct deliveries. You can go home and conduct deliveries. That is what was the situation. But now, do we see our BSc nurses who got a graduate nurses feeling confident to conduct deliveries? MSc nurses feeling confident. Are they, anytime have something in mind? You look at these nurses from the army, like Madam Mala Singh was telling yesterday, they are so confident they are able to manage the whole hospital. But they also have a choice. I have interviewed a lot of these people also when they come for validity, or when I go to conduct their exam and I ask them about NPM. I said, do you feel that you can practice midwifery independently outside because you know how to do it? But then they are not comfortable or never thought about it. I say, you will take your VRS from the army. Do you think you can start your own private practice? So something what is keeping them back, such a huge resource we have. So we will have midwife-led clinics very, very fast. But there's some policy and some regulations and other things. We don't even know on paper whether, whether what we can do. Like if it is an MSc nurse, is she allowed to apply a vacuum or a forceps? If you see in your syllabus, it is there. In the objectives, it is written that you will function as an independent midwifery practitioner. But today I am told that these people after their MSc have to do a 18 months course to be recognized as a midwifery practitioner. So we have to really think about it and also take the collaboration of the obstetrician. I know many of our nurses whose husband or brothers or cousins, somebody is an obstetrician and they are having their own practice. That is very good. We have midwives from the foreign countries who have come. Madam was mentioning quite a few of them, but I do not know. I don't think there's anybody in Maharashtra, so I had not put it in my presentation. But then under the national bill of
Pravina ma'am.
midwifery,
Pravina
yes,
ma'am.
yeah.
Time, ma'am.
This is my last slide, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, 5
I'm
more.
finishing. Yeah.
5 more. Yes.
So, yeah. So, she was to, we don't know whether these people will be allowed to practice or they have to undergo some exam, midwives who have learned from the foreign country. So that could also become a challenge. One more clip, please. And most important, our clients. Because now clients feel that it is in fashion to have a cesarean, or they ask in case it is needed, we should be able to give a confidence that she will deliver normally. Looking at the patient, we should be patient, the woman, we should be, the midwife should be able to give her a fair confidence that 99.9% you will deliver normally, and that 0.1% you will shift to such and such a place. So with that, I think these are few challenges which I had put up. And I think next slide is a thank you slide. I don't know. Next few slides are there. See, be aware of the what is this guideline. Everybody has been mentioning this is especially I am telling it to the students who are doing their masters. Even the BSc students, the graduates should know what is the change in the midwifery situation in our country now. Be aware, and next click please, upgrade. Then you will see that we have these regional centers in 5 places. We need much more. These regional centers will create teachers to teach for NPM. So we don't know what is the time plan for this, because the teachers who had come from other countries have gone back, and it has to restart again. We pray that it starts again. Next, please. And you see on the right hand side here, there is the midwifery cadre, and this is monitoring of the midwifery led care units and patient satisfaction. This is on page number 35. Please open this book, and on the net also you will get all these information, and each one of us have to see what is my role in this midwifery. Okay, next please. Next please. Thank you. And one more click, my email address is there in case you have questions, time for questions here, or you could ask me questions later on, and it's not coming here. I will put it in the chat box, my email address.
Yeah. Participants, do you have any questions or any queries? You can ask ma'am now. Yeah, thank you, Pravina ma'am.
Yes.
For that detailed discussion, as well as the detailed explanation regarding the various challenges that is faced by the midwives. And I know Pravina madam is she's a great leader as well as a supporter. She is always behind each and every midwife. You can see her like she'll motivate, she'll give challenges to them, she'll guide them, and she's really a true midwife, like we can say that we have in Pune and in Maharashtra, where she normally motivates almost all the obstetric and gynecological students as well as the midwives. Thank you, ma'am, for giving and sharing this experience with us. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope we are managed within time.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have put my email address in the chat box. And our main challenge here for the presentation was we have been overlapping. So I had to change my presentation overnight, last night, and I had deleted few slides, and the other slide had to be made. And feel so good to be with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to our next topic. Okay, our next speaker will be Dr. Usha Ukande, ma'am. I know everybody knows her. And she has got almost 50 years of professional experience in nursing and midwifery practice, academics, research, and administration. She's a former professor and principal of Chaitram College of Nursing, Indore, India. She has received various awards and honored like Hall of Fame by Nursing Honorary Society of India. She has launched a journal, Indian Journal of Nursing Studies, in the year 2010, established midwifery-led natural birth center, which is called as a SWA, at Chaitram Hospital, Indore, presented various national and international level papers, organized and attended various conferences and workshops, and published several papers at national and international journals. Her research interest includes development of maternal and child health, nursing education and practice, yoga and alternate therapies. And Dr. Ukande ma'am has launched her own publication house named Malik Publications and midwifery-led clinic Miracle of Motherhood Mom to prepare women for the natural as well as normal birthing. So today she'll be discussing very interesting topic regarding the midwifery led care units, its strategies, and what are the various facilities available in MLCU. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Preeti, and everybody. And hello, Praveena and Sudha and everybody. Yes, it's so nice to see you all. It really looks like we are together, and we are otherwise also together. Yes, Nancy is there. Happy, very happy. Mangala Joshi, madam, and Priya, and everybody. Okay, I've been asked to talk about setting up of midwife-led clinic. I'll try to share my screen. If I'm not able, then I'll tell you people.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You can share.
Let me see if I can. Okay, here. No, it's not coming. Okay, what we will do is, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You put this, you share it for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's shared, ma'am.
There it is.
Yeah.
Put it on the full screen. That's the full?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay then. Next. Everybody, so for last 2 days we are talking about it, and we know why we are talking about nurse-led and midwife-led clinics. Is increasingly pregnancy and birth are not seen as normal physiological process led by midwives, but as high-risk events in women's lives that require medical intervention by highly specialized obstetricians. You know, Sudha was talking about it. Praveena madam also said the same thing. Doctors think that it is their domain, and for many decades now, the midwives are nowhere. So it has been snatched away from the midwives, and it has gone into the hands of the obstetrician. So there is no normalcy here. There is always, every pregnancy for them it needs medical intervention. So this is the very sad state of affair. That is the reason we have now started. The government of India rose up to the occasion, and then for last 2 years, 2018 onwards, they are talking about it in more this thing, and many like this guidelines have come up. 18 months course has come up, and that is not enough. As Praveena said, that there are so many nurses and midwives, and need for this program that's going to be there by the government. They will depute first the teachers will be prepared, and then the midwives will be prepared, and then they will be posted. It will take a long time. Already 2 years have passed. We were part of that program, that 18 months course, that guidelines which have been come up. Me along with Fernandez, we were the people actually said that 18 months minimum is needed. There is a reason for that. We can talk about that also. But thing is that we can do it in our own places also, as I will be telling you from my own examples, and examples from my own people that who have been working with me. Okay, next, please. Now, what is midwife-led care? I have taken it from ICM's how ICM has told. Others also have mentioned this. We will just read it. A midwife-led model of care means that the midwife is the lead healthcare professional. She leads here. So if we say it is a midwife-led care unit, just imagine 85% of women are supposed to be having normal, low risk birth. So 85% of women should be dealt with for normal delivery. They will go for, we assume that they'll go for normal. So it is the midwife who is going to lead. That is the reason the obstetricians are very threatened by the presence of midwives. Okay. Midwife is responsible for planning, organization, and delivery of care given to women from the initial booking of antenatal visits through birth of the baby to care during postnatal period throughout. I mean, when a mother comes to the OPD in any place, whether it is a medical college hospital or it is a district hospital or any private hospital, the aim of midwife-led care is that the mother will be seen, the pregnant woman will be seen by midwife in her clinic. And then if she finds that she needs the obstetrician's care, she will refer her to the obstetrician. So this is what is actually midwife-led care. The midwife-led model of care is women-centered and based on the premise that pregnancy and childbirth are normal life events. This is most important. So that is the reason we are all talking about it today. And let's see that this program takes momentum and we progress during this 2021. There will be a real progress in this direction. Okay, next, please. Okay, why we must promote MLCUs, midwife-led care units? MLC promotes birth as a normal process and advocates for a minimum of interventions. There is actually no need. When we say we conduct delivery, actually it is not we who conduct delivery, neither the doctor nor the midwife. It is the mother and the baby who work together to the baby to bring into this world. It is the mother. You leave her alone, she will deliver the baby. We are not conducting the delivery. We are rather supporting the mother to have her baby. Okay, midwife-led care provides safe and high quality care and is associated with more efficient use of resources and improvement of outcome. It improves the outcomes, yes. We do not need any resources except for a person who is with her and we have prepared her properly. No other resources will be needed, neither material resources, non-man resources, non-material resources, 3 M's. It will be very, very cost effective and outcome also will be good, provided we are prepared for having these midwife-led clinics. The model of care provides the woman with the education, counseling, and antenatal care adapted to her specific needs. So it is a continuous process through labor, through birth and immediate postpartum care and ongoing support during postnatal periods. A whole thing, starting from antenatal till the mother goes out, and the postnatal care also is in the domain of midwife-led care. And in case, this is very important, that in case of complication, women are appropriately referred. This is also that we need to keep it in mind from the beginning itself as we see them. Anything that, if we think there is a complication or there is impending complication, we should refer them in time. So we need not be scared. You know, people are scared of going to the midwife and midwives are scared something will happen. Even a doctor with whom I am now working and I'm telling her to start her natural birthing center. Oh, if something happens, I said, nothing will happen. Something happens, then we can immediately take her to a higher center. What is there? We still have time. So these are the concerns and these are the reasons why we want to have a midwife-led care unit. Next, please. Yes. Now, strategies, the topic that have been given to me. Strategies will be different for government health sector and for private health sector. Government health sector, already the guideline that Praveena was mentioning, and she had shown, even the page numbers were shown by someone. And these are given here a little bit about, I have not mentioned here, I've taken it from that book only. MLCUs would be established at Lakshya certified public health facilities government has already, Lakshay has started, I think it started in 2016-17. There are Lakshay certified public health centers, very nice. I mean, people are working very well there. Those places, the NPMs, the nurse midwife and nurse practitioner in midwifery would be posted for 24 hours, 7 delivery services. Medical colleges will have minimum of 16 to 18 such midwives, NPMs. District hospitals should have 6 to 8, and CHCs and smaller units can have 4. That means at least 1 during each shift and a 1 person supporting. The state should ensure posting of the selected candidates at pre-identified midwifery-led care units before the commencement of the midwifery training. So midwifery training has already started. Unfortunately, only in the state of Hyderabad and Gujarat, and maybe 1 or 2, maybe West Bengal, whether they started this new training or not, I am not very sure. But few places have started. Madhya Pradesh has not yet started. My state has not started. So once they started, and then they will identify the Lakshay certified public health facilities, and there this program, the NPMs will be posted. And during this time, I think the other things like cadre, etc., will also be taken care of. So this is what is government's plan. And now next, next please. Next slide. Now, State of Gujarat has taken a lead in establishing MLCUs. They presented it in different forums also. I attended one of them, and it was really very encouraging. And they have prepared a document called Operationalization of Midwife-led Care Units in Gujarat. And that document is a lengthy document. I have only taken few sentences in that. That is, midwifery-led care unit is a unit established within labor room or Shall I continue? Somebody was talking. Okay, to be run by personnel trained under midwifery program to promote respectful maternity care and natural birth. Next. Yes. So this again, further it says MLCUs will be part of department vision of obstetrics at all places. Obstetrician-led labor room and midwife-led labor room will co-placed. They will be side by side. According to the government of Gujarat, there will be in the same hospital, there will be an obstetrical-led labor room and a midwife-led labor room. Good thing if they do it, very good. There will be very few mothers in the obstetric-led, whereas there will be maximum will be in the midwife-led. This I am not sure whether they have started it or not. Then co-located with each other in same department. Similar structure to be established in district hospital and other places where MLCUs to run concomitantly with MO's staff. That means they are not separating it from the doctor obstetricians. It is going to be with the midwives, and they are working side by side. We have to be very careful that again they should not snatch away the authority of that is midwife will be the lead. We will watch and see how do they work. They have started few clinics, few midwife-led labor rooms. We need to go, wait and see how it functions. Okay, next. So that was about government hospital. Now we'll talk about private sector. Why we want to have midwife-led clinics and care units in private sector also. It's not a government's plan at all, but we know that 70% of primary health care in India is following rapid growth in recent years. Private sector is taking care of nearly 70% of all the care. Only 30% of care goes to the government. And as we talk about maternity, a large proportion of people still pay out of their pockets. That's also a concern. Private providers play a significant role in maternity care in India, accounting for 48% of institutional childbirths in urban areas and 24% in rural areas. That means nearly 50% of births are taking place in private institutions. There also we need to have midwife-led care units, but it is because it's not governments. In private, we the midwives will have to take a lead. to start it. So need is to make births cost effective and provide benefits of natural births. So that is where what I did in Choitram, that I am going to talk to you. How did we do it? Okay, next. Now, if you want to start, how to go about starting MLCUs in private sector? First of all, you need to develop a deep understanding and passion for the concept of MLCU. How many of us? Many of us sitting in this particular virtual conference are from private sector. Many of us, you will agree with me. But how many of you are really having a deep understanding of and you have a passion for the concept that yes, we want to do it? I am going to appeal to all of you. Sudha Reddy, madam, if you're still there, I will again tell you, please start it in your place. I will also tell MGM people they visited our place and they with their obstetrician person and the nurse, the college faculty dealing with the midwives. And I will again tell them, we can start it, you can start it. Okay, so that is that passion, please have it. Now is the time, we must start. Okay, so form a dedicated team. I heard Sudha telling, will my faculty listen? Yes, they'll listen. My faculty was more than me. Let me tell you, I was there, but my faculty, each one of them, nearly 8 of them, they were so good. At night, they all, whenever there was a delivery in the birth taking place in SWA, Varsha would reach there with her small child and she would conduct. So every birth in SWA had to be witnessed or seen or conducted by one of. She would assist the nurse who is posted there, midwife who is posted there. So they did it and they were so confident and they learned a lot. All my MSc students, all my faculty members, they were very, very cooperative. So we did have a dedicated team. We all can prepare a dedicated team. Discuss with your team in detail with scientific evidence. This is another important thing. From the time we started master's program in our college, I had it in my mind. So we did all studies which were interventional studies, especially how do we help mothers in pain relief during labor, preparing them during this thing. This you had presented the companionship. One of my master's student did a study on husband being companion in the delivery room. So she did. She had so many persons. Sonia Samuel. She did it, and it was appreciated by many people. Although there had been a lot of barriers to that. So we did a number of studies, and those studies we applied into. I'll show you later on. We call it natural birthing bundle. Okay, so evidence. Then prepare a proposal and submit, and remain positive. We prepare a proposal with positive mind. We went to the management, and here I want to say, if your efforts are sincere and your work is good for the majority of people, the whole universe will conspire to make it happen. And that is what happened with us. Somebody helped me. The top management, the lady who was from UK, she had her 3 babies with the midwife. She said, I'm going to help you. And that's how we started. Okay. Prepare detailed strategies, physical setup, consult an architect, staffing, infrastructure, everything. We prepared that proposal in detail. How much staff we need, how much area we need, how we are going to prepare the setup, etc. And then it started working. But start your MLC in steps. First, midwife-led OPDs, side by side, you prepare for the birthing center. That is what we did. Later on, you will see we started in 2012, then we started another clinic in 2015, and 16, we started the birthing center. So it should start with the OPD run by midwife-led OPD. Okay, this is my team. You can see their faces. The 4 girls at the back in pink dress are the midwives. They are the BSc nurses. Now, it so happened, they had their 18 months training with me. We worked together for 2 years, and now 3 of them, all 4 of them have left. 3 of them have gone to the government sector. They are taken as CHOs, and 1 went somewhere else. And most of our people, some are there, some are not there. Anyway, so at that moment, we had a very good team. Next. Okay, start training your staff on knowledge, attitude, and practice CAP. And most important is attitude. Somebody said mindset. Yes, mindset needs to be changed. These girls who were working with me, we gave them training also along with when they were working. And when I asked them, how do you feel after practicing here? They said, we are changed. Our mind is changed. Earlier, we used to work with the mothers like it's okay. We would scold them or we would be in a hurry, etc., etc. Now we feel one with them. So that mindset, that attitude change occurs with time. That is the reason me and Fernandez people were after them. It takes time. That's why the training should be 18 months at least, because it is not just the skill. It's not just the knowledge. It is most important is attitude. To change that, you need to have some patience. Okay, next. Now, then campaigning about the concept of normal natural birth with obstetricians, women, general public, it should be an ongoing process. It is not, because as somebody mentioned, people have forgotten कि क्या midwives भी कर सकती हैं, nurses कर सकती हैं, उनको यकीन नहीं है. नर्सेस को खुद को भी अपने पे यकीन नहीं है, मदर्स को नहीं है, ऑब्स्टेट्रिशियन बिल्कुल हमारे अगेंस्ट हैं. तो हमें जगह जगह जाके इसकी कैंपेनिंग करनी पड़ेगी. Fortunately, in my hospital, it's a private hospital, we have a marketing team. That marketing team helped me with arranging the campaigning program with women outside. Lions Club, Rotary Club, women's organizations, yoga classes, everywhere, schools, colleges. So we had a number of campaigning programs, and that is how we became famous in Indore. Everybody started talking about natural birthing, and people would naturally come to us. And we had a Facebook page. I have a Facebook page and I have a website also. So that is how we need to reach out to more and more people to spread the message. This is for all of us who are working in the private sector. Okay, next. All right, now this particular picture is very important picture. Here you will see there are two girls sitting with us with their babies. When two of my colleagues' children came to meet us with their kids, one of them had given birth to her baby in Australia under midwifery care. The other one had a bad experience in Indore. I don't have time to explain that. So I called them. I just called them. That time we had not yet started the birthing center. So they came and they shared their views with us, how it was in Australia, how she was treated. And the other one said what happened in Indore when she wanted everything that she wanted, and the people were not helping her. So then they said, madam, why don't you start natural birthing? You're talking for last 3 years. You have your clinics, but you have not started it. I said, okay. So they are the people. It is the demand of the people who asked me to start it. That day I said, okay, I'm going to start. We are going to start it. And that made the difference. That is, we started the birthing center. Next. Okay, so here you can see how we started. We started our MCH clinic. We called it MCH clinic. In our peripheral OPD, we have a setup where there are all OPDs. So I asked for a room, and I took a room and I prepared it well, and we had number of mothers coming there. We had workshops for the family, husband and family people, and it went on very well. And the cesarean rates had decreased. People had liked it. Then in our own big hospital, we started another clinic. We called it Healthy Mother, Healthy Baby Clinic. And then in 2016, we started the Natural Birthing Center called SWA. SWA is me, my own strength. SWA, self. Okay, next. So this is on 14th September 2016, initiated SWA, Choitram's Natural Birthing Center. This mono was also selected with a lot of care, and the name also. Okay, next. Now, I'll just take you around this place, small place, very small place, 1200 square feet only. This is a reception where the midwife sits there, and anybody who comes to have the baby is earlier booked in the OPD. I've not given you the OPD's this thing. Okay, next. After reception, we have a small advisory and guidance room. See, we are very careful about the language we use. We say advisory and guidance room. We don't say antenatal clinic. She comes there, sits there with me. I used to sit there. she's already been seen that one person, one of us, the senior person from the college would sit there and talk to them. Okay, next. Yeah, this is, we called it mother's activity room. Mother's activity room. We don't call it first stage labor room. Labor word is wrong. So we call it mother's activity room. First stage, it's an open space, lot of space there. You can see chatai वहाँ पे है, low bed है, और वो तो चलना फिरना है मदर को, तो enough space should be there, and minimum furniture. Okay, no other things, like not like a hospital, it's like a home. Okay, next. We have a pantry where we can prepare something for the mother, hot tea. We need to keep her hydrated. Some soft food can also be prepared. So this can be used by the relative. Relative is always, the birth companion is always there. Then we have a small garden where she can walk around with the midwife. Okay, next. While she's in first stage of labor, that is, she's having a birthing process. Birthing room, I went for a chair, but I didn't like the chair. I wanted a space, more space. So this is a birthing bed. Low, you can make it low or high. This is the birthing ball. You can see a rope hanging there. So we had ropes, not only one, two, more than 2 ropes, so that when they sit there, if they want to hold the rope and push, squatting is the best position for having a birth. So she's allowed to even sit on the floor and have a baby. Okay, and you see in the birthing room there are no other things. It will be minimum things will be there. Okay, next. Now this is our hydrotherapy room. We did not conduct any water birth, but we do this hydrotherapy. They are made to sit in the warm water. It is sterilized, it's clean, and they feel most comfortable there. And if you ask them, they'll sit for 1 hour. Pains आ रही हैं तो बड़ा अच्छा है, pain उनको कम महसूस होती है, buoyance of the water. So the best thing that the mother likes is sitting in the water birth, this thing, tub. We selected this tub. I went around the market to select which tub I should take, and everything had to be done, the best thing that for the mothers. Okay, next. This is mom and me. We don't call it postnatal room. We called it mom and me. Now the baby has come, so you can see a wide bed, a low bed, minimum furniture there. You can see good pics on the wall. There is not even TV. No, we don't give them TV, etc. TV is there only for educational purpose, and as settee for the relative. Because we had a small place, so we have only this much. Next. So those were the physical setup, the minimum furniture, spacious place, and the required things should be there. Okay. Now you see here natural birthing bundle, EBP, evidence-based. Now these are 14 things that we do with them. There is a companion with the mother, husband is there. This is the squatting position, the best position for birth. Garbh Sanskar music. She sits on the ball, which makes her the bottom, it's really good. We have done studies. On all these, and we have incorporated the evidence for doing this. And these things have been even put on the board. People see this, the relatives who come with them, they see, yes, you are doing good. So this is a massage. This is one of our MSc student did. This is nipple massage, helps a lot, especially for increasing the placental delivery. That time also it helps a lot. Warm compresses, hydration with water, sitting in the water bath, meditation. These are 2 acupressure things. This is LI4, this is SP6. It helps in relieving this labor pain, labor discomfort, and breathing. Lamas, you call it lamas or you call it pranayam, and companion. The husband takes her around. So these are the things that the studies we did, and we incorporated it in the real sense. This is the advantage of having a college with master's program. You can do anything and you can show to the world also. Next. Okay. This is my team working with the mothers, teaching them. These are our OPD where we sit and work with them. Okay, next. Now, I have said what was the place, how we worked and how we started. And now you can see this girl, Sunita. I am going to introduce you to three girls today. One is Sunita. She worked with us 2 years. She is a BSc nurse and she got her posting for CHO. CHO बन गई वो. उसको एक छोटा वेलनेस सेंटर मिला गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, सब सेंटर जो होता है जिसको आजकल वो वेलनेस सेंटर बोलते हैं. उस वेलनेस सेंटर में as soon as she went, she started working whatever she was doing with us there. And I once visited her with the ball and the mat. So I gave that to her and she made me meet. This is the day I had met her. All these women had come there, mothers as well as Asha workers, Anganwadi workers. And she's conducting births there, simple births as well as difficult births. And here you can see this is a paper cutting. It says Health and Wellness Center पर हफ्ते भर पहले हुई पोस्टिंग दर्द और दवाई रहित प्रसव करा रही सुनीता. ये तो एक है. इसके बाद और भी बहुत कुछ हुआ. एंड शी इज वेरी असर्टिव. शी इज टॉकिंग टू द गवर्नमेंट कि मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे ये चाहिए. और अभी तक इसने मोर देन 200 बर्थ्स कर लिए हैं and very very successfully. And you can see this mother is having her baby sitting, squatting. Difficult उसमें भी ये मुझे बताती रहती है कि what is happening, and then we consult each other. And I am so happy. Out of all my people, she is the one who is really doing it in the government sector. So next, please. Next. This one, I can't, can you, someone? Okay, this is the story of Sweetie. Sweetie was a mother who had her first baby with us in SWA. Now during Corona time, in the month of April, she was almost full term at our hospital, and including SWA had gone to COVID positive patients. So now she was very much thinking what to do. So she contacted Sunita, who had looked after her earlier. So Sunita said, okay, I am doing it in Kalaria, you come to me. So by the time she was to go there, Sunita's duty was put in COVID, so she's not available. So what to do now? We had Kamlesh, this one. Kamlesh is also a midwife who was with us, and she is now with Lakshay, one of the Lakshay centers in the town. So I said we can send Sweetie to her. So we were all three of us talking. Now in the meantime, this Sweetie went to the doctor because she was having some problem in a private hospital, and the doctor said, oh, you have a lot of problem, you are going to have a cesarean, get admitted because you need I want to start you on antibiotics. So she started her on antibiotics. Panically, this girl called Sunita ki what to do, and we consulted Kamlesh. Kamlesh said, I can see that there is nothing wrong with her, she should come to me. So with difficulty she got discharged from that hospital, came to Kamlesh, got admitted next day. 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock she got admitted, 11 o'clock she had a nice baby. So that is, this is, I have published it in my journal, Advantage. I have the advantage of having a journal. So I have published this article, you people can see it. You can, some of you have got this journal, others who don't have, I will also ask you to subscribe for the journal. This is how we help, and the caption we have given for this is midwives come are, okay, I can't read it because it is in small letters. Anyway, so this is Sunita and Kamlesh. I will introduce you to one more person. Next. Next. Okay. Now this is Navnita. I had told her to be available. I want her to tell you how she started. She has initiated a midwife-led clinic. See, midwife-led care unit in Uttarakhand in one of the private hospitals. Navnita last year asked me, हमारे यहाँ पे आप सोमी का चैप्टर शुरू कर दो उत्तराखंड में. मैंने और मिताली ने और मैडम भट्टाचार्य ने तीनों वहाँ पे गए और हमने before COVID it was, and we started her clinic there, her chapter, Somi chapter. Then this girl shifted to another college. She had started there, but had not started the clinic. Now she has started the clinic. So I am requesting, if Navnita is somewhere, can you come? We would like to hear you. Just 1 minute. Okay, we don't see her. Anyways, so Navnita is another girl. Now she had not been my student, neither my teacher. She only belonged to Indore. but she was so motivated that she is the one who started a midwife-led clinic in her hospital. So I think this is a motivation for all of us, all of you. Yes, you also can. She's a vice principal. She's not even a principal. Okay, so if she can do it, you can also do it. Next. Next. Okay, now not this one. Please go back to the previous one. I have talked with Mansi also. Mansi is Dr. Mansi Chaudhary, belongs to Indore. If Mansi is around, please unmute yourself and come.
Usha ma'am, I am Navnita.
Navnita, please ask these organizers to unmute you and to, can you speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Say something.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Usha Kande madam, because you are giving me chance to and guide to open this midwife led care unit, ma'am. Thank you. And Somi chapter Uttarakhand, we are initiating for midwife led care unit in our hospital. Our hospital is 300 bedded hospital. And thank you, ma'am, because sometime मैम ऐसा लग रहा था कि हमारे नियरेस्ट, क्योंकि हमारा जो कॉलेज है वो बहुत सारे गांव के बीच में है, और we have seen ma'am so many mothers are not interested to antenatal checkup and they were coming for last antenatal checkup, means 9th month जो प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन रहती हैं 9 मंथ लास्ट रहता है तब वो आती हैं. तो मैम हम लोग ने बहुत इनिशिएशन लिया और हमने इस चीज को सोचा कि नहीं, हमें इस तरह का प्रोग्राम और एक स्टार्टअप लेना चाहिए. तो मैडम के गाइडेंस से मैम हमने स्टार्ट किया है और कंटिन्यूएशन गाइडेंस मैडम का है हमारे साथ. तो थैंक यू मैम.
Thank you, Navnita. You are going to have birthing center also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Is Mansi around? Mansi? Mansi has started in Indore in a hospital. She has done a doctorate. She is a midwifery teacher, probably associate professor. And she daily goes there in the clinic. She runs the clinic in that hospital. Labor room is looked after by the midwives. But they have not yet trained those midwives because Corona शुरू हो गया तो वो ज़्यादा काम नहीं कर पाए. But वो भी शुरू हो चुका है. अगर मानसी कहीं है तो मैं चाहूंगी कि वो आए. नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं. So we go to the last one. Last slide. Thank you. थैंक यू कहूंगी आप सबको, खास करके उनको जिन्होंने what I am doing, they have spread it further and I wish that others also do it. And you can see my email and my phone number is there. Yes, मानसी आ गई क्या? Okay, she's not there, but she's very good. We need people like her, and we need, I mean, it is not what I want to say. I'm not contradicting anybody, but I would like to say, if it is in your mind, please go ahead and do it. Okay, I am looking for other people also to join, and I'm open to, I run my clinic because of COVID. I have stopped running the clinic. Otherwise, I go and sit there and talk to the mother and prepare them also. And I publish the articles in my journal, which comes regularly every this thing. Those of you who have not subscribed, please subscribe. And together we can start the midwife-led units in government as well as private institutions. Thank you very much, MGM, Prabha, and everybody for asking me to share my experiences with you. Thank you, Preeti.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants, any questions, any queries, you can just ask ma'am. Ma'am, there is, I think was a question. Will the midwife get loan from the bank to start the standalone midwifery-led care units? I think so. Praveena ma'am has asked this. Any
what
support
I want
from
to say, गवर्नमेंट से गवर्नमेंट को भूल जाइए. आप अपने, मैंने कैसे किया, मेरी क्लिनिक के लिए मेरे पास पैसे एक्स्ट्रा नहीं थे तो क्या करूं, तो एक डॉक्टर ने मुझे बोला मेरी क्लिनिक में 3 दिन बैठता हूं, बाकी 3 दिन आप बैठ सकते हैं. तो मैंने उनकी क्लिनिक को यूज किया और वहां पे अपनी क्लिनिक शुरू कर दी. जहां तक छोटी छोटी चीजों का सवाल है, बॉल लेना है, मैट लेना है, मटेरियल लेना है, लैपटॉप आपका अपने पास है, थोड़ा बहुत आपको लिटरेचर यू मे नीड सम 10,000 रुपीज. And I think we can spend that much of money. So do not think of, I didn't earn anything much. Whatever I have earned, it is lying there somewhere. I have kept it there. I have not used it because it is what you want to do. You can do without money also. I don't think you need money. And if anybody needs money, I am here. I can help you. Anybody who is very compassionate. एंड शी इज अ नर्स ओनली, सिंपल गर्ल, छोटी है, और उसको सामान, जैसे मैंने सुनीता को जाके एक बॉल और वो दे दिया, मैंने कहा तू गवर्नमेंट से मांगेगी, गवर्नमेंट वाले तेरे को कब देंगे मैं मालूम नहीं, तू ये रख ले, यूज कर, और भी कुछ चाहिए तो बता दे। और नवनीता को मैं अपना सारा लिटरेचर भेज देती हूँ, कि जब उसने प्रपोजल तैयार किया था उस वक्त भी मैंने उसको बोला अपना प्रपोजल मुझे भेज, मैं उसको थोड़ा ठीक करती हूँ, आई डिड इट लिटिल, मेड इट बेटर, एंड शी टॉक्ड विद हर अथॉरिटीज एंड शी डिड इट एंड शी गॉट डन एवरीथिंग। हो जाता है प्रवीणा मैडम, सब हो जाएगा, आप शुरू करिए, आई एम देयर, आई विल कम एंड विजिट यू योर क्लिनिक।
करूंगी, मैं भी करूंगी मैम।
हाँ
मुझे
मैडम आप
तो
तो पक्का करो।
इतनी इमोशनल हो गई थी व्हेन आई सॉ योर गर्ल डूइंग इट इन सीएचओ जो है, एंड उसने
हाँ
इतने सारे डिलीवरीज किए हैं नॉर्मल वहां पे, अमेजिंग।
बिल्कुल, डिफिकल्ट डिलीवरीज भी उसने मैनेज की एंड गॉड हेल्प्स हर। मैंने कहा तेरा एक भी केस खराब होगा तो तेरे पे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम आ जाएगी, पर नहीं हुआ कुछ, कुछ नहीं हुआ, और अच्छे रहे, मतलब डिफिकल्ट केस भी, एक पीपीएच हो रहा था उसको भी उसने बचा लिया, ऐसा है। एनीवेज, थैंक यू, टाइम हो रहा है आप लोगों का।
Thank
नेक्स्ट
you. Thank you,
स्पीकर।
ma'am. It was a great experience as well as great opportunity to interact with you. And I think so people also will be, surely they'll call you to initiate this particular.
हाँ ये
Yeah.
कोरोना ठीक हो जाए फिर हम आ जाएंगे।
Yeah.
जरूर आएंगे।
Okay. We'll
Thank
move on to the next session now. That is regarding the advocacy for independent midwifery practices in India. So the speakers are, so we have divided this particular session into 3 areas. That is regarding the issues and challenges in independent midwifery practice. Second one, the reforms in midwifery and regulatory system, and independent nurse practitioner role in midwifery in India. So the first speaker for today, for this session, Dr. Supriya Chinchpure, who has got more than 15 years of experience in the field of nursing. She did her PBBSc, that is nursing, from the Institute of Nursing Education, JJ Hospital, Mumbai. Post-graduation from Temigrant Institute of Nursing Education, Ruby Hall, as well as PhD from MGM IHS, Mumbai. She is a life member for several professional organizations, presented papers at the national and international level, as well as organized and attended various conferences and workshops. And she has published several papers in the national and international journal, and author for a book of Fundamental of Nursing by Vijayam Publications. Over to you, ma'am. Hello, Supriya, ma'am. She's there, no?
She has to unmute.
Supriya, ma'am. किधर गई? She is there. Where she left?
The organizers have to unmute her because Supriya has sent her in the chat. Kindly unmute me twice. So the Adam people have to unmute her and help her out, I think.
Supriya ma'am, you can unmute yourself actually. टाइम जा रहा है. ये किधर है?
And identify the track the words into the
Hello, Preeti.
Yes, ma'am. She left and now she has added again.
Okay. No, otherwise I was thinking if she's having technical problems, we can go to the next
Okay.
one.
Yeah. She added
She has
now.
joined back.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah. You're audible.
Okay. Yeah. Ma'am, I'll share my screen, ma'am.
Share.
Ma'am, is it visible? Hello. Sorry for the technical errors.
It's not visible.
I'll just start on behalf of a manager. It's not visible?
Ma'am, it is not visible. Yeah, it's coming now.
Ma'am, is it visible now?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. Okay. I'm extremely sorry. Yeah, I'm extremely sorry for the technical errors. Thank you very much, ma'am, for the introduction. On behalf of our management, Marathwada Medical Research Institute.
Ma'am, screen. It's half
What
screen.
happened, ma'am?
It's half screen. It's coming half screen.
In mine, it is seen full.
No, it's seen half.
Okay.
Yeah, now it is.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am.
It is visible, ma'am.
Yeah. You can if you're going for slide share, no, it will come half.
Okay.
ये पीपीटी में नहीं है ना? पीपीटी में
मैम पीपीटी में ही है, पीपीटी में ही है मैम, अभी दिख रहा है?
हाँ, but that only slide share, when you do it will come off.
अच्छा, so I should not slide share it. This is okay?
अभी एक बार करो स्लाइड शेयर.
मैम किया.
No, it is. Ma'am, you talk in this.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, you talk.
Okay. On behalf of our management, Marathwada Medical Research Institute, Kamal and Bajaj Hospital Nurse. Yeah, I'm speaking, ma'am. Am I audible? Yeah. Thank you so much for the lovely welcome. We all would like to wish you all a happy, prosperous, and a healthy new year. It gives me an immense pleasure to thank the conference committee members, MGM New Mumbai, Bombay College of Nursing, Somi Maharashtra chapter members to organize this state level conference on rebirth of midwifery in India, challenges faced by midwives, and me, and even inviting me as a panelist to speak on issues and challenges in midwifery practice. Actually, I'm a budding midwife. I would like to say I don't have that much of experience to speak on the challenges, but there are some eminent people like Prakash Amma ma'am, Dr. Kuruvilla ma'am, Dr. Usha Ukhande ma'am, Dr. Elvin Kannan ma'am, Sujata Sawant ma'am, Dr. Vijaya Krishnan. All these people have helped me to enrich and gather my content for this session. I'm extremely thankful to all these people. Yes, since yesterday's session and today's session, we have spoken a lot about who is a midwife, what exactly we are supposed to do. So I'll just brush up a few slides about the midwife. Okay, so here our understanding about midwife, we have a core definition and we have some extended elements which are recently added to a midwife. A midwife is a trained health personnel who provides comprehensive continuing care right from her pregnancy, during labor, delivery, and after the birth of their baby.
Supriya,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
just scroll it, no? It's only first slide is seeing there.
No, ma'am, I have scrolled.
No. It's only first slide which is seeing.
Mm,
You put it on slideshow.
yeah, ma'am, I tried it, but ma'am is saying it's not able to visualize with her.
Okay, then you just scroll it.
Ma'am, I scrolled it.
Supriya, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is it okay if I speak?
No.
Even if my screen is not shared, can I speak if I'm audible?
No, ma'am. There is some issue. Is there? We'll move on to the second speaker. Then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay, ma'am. Fine, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for the technical issues. Like we'll do this session in the next after this session. So we'll move on to the next speaker. That is Dr. Nancy Fernandez, who has got total 34 years of experience in teaching field, as well as she's alumni of the prestigious SNDT Women's University, completed a PhD and MSc Nursing, as well as PG Diploma in Education Management, and completed basic certificate course of healthcare ethics. Contributed chapters to books as well as has number of publications to her credit. She is a life member for several professional organizations. We welcome you, ma'am, and we welcome you for the session. Up to you, Nancy, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you to one and all for bearing patiently for the technical errors that take place online. That's also a learning experience for each one of us. Let me take this opportunity to thank Dr. Prabha Dasila, Preeti for being so patient with each one of us panelists. Thank you to Somi Maharashtra chapter. Thank you to MGM for organizing this whole workshop. I will not take too much of time because I think more than talking, we need to be in action. If you look at midwives and nurses are an integral part of the reproductive healthcare system. So we need to make sure that our healthcare system, we make our midwives really very strong. So when we make our midwives very strong, then our maternal healthcare system will be very strong. If you look at Indian situation, we have an integrated program. We do not have an independent program of midwives and an independent program for nurses. A comprehensive and a strong regulatory mechanism is therefore needed to regulate education, the practice, and to ensure that we have competent nurses and midwives in our Indian healthcare system. When you look at the Indian scenario, a lot of things have already been spoken by the previous speakers and they have highlighted. And therefore, I will not drag into many of it. Just to touch on some of them, we have to remember that we do not have an independent cadre of midwives yet. We want our nurses. We have been struggling. There's been a process, but we need the public to recognize. We need the public to recognize and give us a cadre, accept a cadre of competent independent nurse midwives in India. Why do I say that? I have gone abroad and I found that many a times when I told Miss So-and-so, oh, you are an obstetric nurse. She said, no, I'm a midwife. I am a midwife. I'm not a nurse. And I asked the question, hey, you are a midwife. I have taught obstetrics. We both deliver a normal baby through the vagina. But she said, no, you are different and I am different. I am a midwife. So in India, we need a cadre who talks and says, I am a midwife. If we look at our educational program, our GNM program, which is of 3 years, our baccalaureate program, which is of 4 years, both have midwifery integrated into it. But the sad part is that we have a program which lasts only for 6 months as compared to the 18 months midwifery education program, which is provided abroad. Yes, we do have, and Madam Praveena has already mentioned about the nurse practitioner, which focuses on midwifery. But how many after the nurse midwifery programs do we have them as independent midwives? We still have to answer that question. What is it that we require to say that, yes, our midwifery program is independent? I'm quoting this from the International Confederation of Midwives. We need to very clearly state the scope of practice. There's a lot of deliberation that's been going on, the National Nurse Midwifery Commission, that is bill that is coming in. Yes, we are still talking. We have to make sure, just like the farmers, get the practice documented out that this is our scope. These are the normal deliveries that we are going to conduct. During the pre-registration of education, that is important. So that when we go for clinical practices, the doctors recognize that, yes, these are people who are a part different. Doctor also can deliver. Let's leave the doctor to do all complicated cases. But normal cases should be done by a midwife. Our registration, I and many of my seniors would also, and my subordinates also would be having a registration called as nurse midwife. I think we also need to have a registration for independently only. I have to make a choice after my baccalaureate program. Do I want to be a nurse or do I want to be a midwife? Why do I say that? We have in most of our hospitals, wherever there's a shortage of nurse, she is placed. She may be one day in ICU, one day in labor room, then in blood bank. We don't want that. We want our midwife to be having her independent title that will give her her independent recognition. Relicensing and continued competency. I have done my midwifery years ago, but do I still have that competency and the skill? If I go to renew my registration, I should have the competency. Unfortunately, we do not have, we have CNEs coming up now, but do we keep checking our nurses' skills? Whether it's a nurse or whether it's a midwife, we don't check. We do have CNEs coming in. We have many institutions now having a lot of skill-based programs that are conducted, but for registration are competent, just like how they have it abroad. Because then you can say that my skill is 100% perfect. My skill is very good. You cannot find a fault in my skill. Compliance and discipline, that's very important. Do I comply with the skill process? Do I comply with whatever's new that's coming in? How much of my discipline when I'm teaching as a nurse midwife, am I including the changing trends? All of us are familiar with code of conduct and ethics. As a nurse, whatever the code of conducts I need to follow. Therefore, as a midwife, what are the code of conducts? Right from the time the lady conceives till the lady delivers her postpartum period, whatever aspects are there, they should be spelled out. That will give us a legal protection. We are very sure, we have a lot of literature. I've just quoted a few, one over here. There is literature evidence suggesting that 87% of maternal health care during childbirth can be managed effectively by professional midwives. Professional midwives, 87%. The remaining percent may be because they're not constantly into midwifery practice. What is our barrier? Barrier for an independent midwifery practice. We face several challenges, including resource constraints. We do not have midwifery teachers adequately. We have nurse midwives. We need teachers who are not taking rotation in teaching midwifery. We need teachers who are in the clinical area, who are doing midwifery practice and who are teaching. Just like the doctors, why do we have the recognition? The doctor who teaches is the doctor who practices at the bedside. So therefore, we need midwives who practice at the bedside, who teach, because they know the nitty-gritties. As you have heard Madam Usha also speaking, or you have also heard Madam Rutsudha talking. When you are at the bedside, you know all the nitty-gritties of what problem takes place. And that would help to eliminate the mismatch that takes place in theory and practice. But we also have lack of opportunity for midwifery practice. Why do we have the lack of opportunity? We have few labor rooms, number of patients that are coming there. You have the doctors competing. In that one labor room, you have 3-4 colleges, students coming and practicing. Number of deliveries versus the number of people wanting to practice is not there. Therefore, many of them end up observing and documenting. If there's 3 deliveries today and there are 5 people, only 2 of them will get it. 3 of them will get it. The remaining will be observers. So therefore, there's inadequate opportunity. If you do not have opportunity, how do you polish your skills? How do you move from being a novice to being an expert? Discrimination and stigma. In certain parts, they do not want a female midwife. They feel a doctor is the only one who can be doing the right thing. This stigma, this discrimination also should move. How can that happen? If we make our midwifery practice visible, make it known to the public. People are saying that I want a midwife and I don't want a doctor. The current midwifery and nursing regulatory structure of India also faces many challenges. I'm not going to elaborate because many of us have been talking about what was the past and what is happening and what changes do we want in the coming commission bill. There's strong domination from medical practitioners. There are many people who tried independent midwifery practice. They did not get much support. They said they took in clinics. Many of you must have heard Sureka yesterday, and she must have shared her experiences. When we say a nurse is going to open her own clinic, there is problem. But you see abroad, more than 1,000 population is under a nurse practitioner. So therefore, a nurse midwife is the one who decides exactly the protocol for her patients. That doesn't happen in India. In India, the doctor dominates and he tells the nurse exactly, or the midwife, to do exactly what he wants to do. We need to get out of that. Only then we will be able to have an independent practice. We need to look at our regulatory acts. Yes, the regulatory act is changing, but we have to make sure that the mistakes in the old act do not get repeated. We need to make sure our acts are gender sensitive. Many a times, if you look at the act, the sentence is his, him. We need to make sure, because midwifery is largely female-dominated profession. So we have to make sure it is explicitly clear that the midwife is she. You can have a male midwife, no harm. Put a slash and then put a he. But don't keep only he or him. The curriculum is not a part of the act. Curriculum is decided by INC and it is done. It should be a part of the act which says that the nurse midwife has a right to do these steps, has a right to carry these protocols. When it becomes a part of the act, it's easy. If you have legal protection, you have legal rights. None of the acts of different states that we have looked at talk about anything related to independent midwifery practice. And that is why for the last some years, we've been fighting for independent midwifery practice. We have to also make sure that our nurses themselves do not become hindering factors. When you look at the existing regulatory act given by INC, it talks largely related to regulating education. Our inspection is related to education, whether education is maintaining the standards, whether we have the clinical area. But if there is lacune in the clinical area for practice, nothing is done. So we need to make sure that regulating active education has to move towards focusing on updating the knowledge and also looking at the practicing skills. When you have the skills incorporated into the act, then we will know that every nurse will go back to the classroom to make sure her skill is very good. She will make sure she goes to the clinical area, practices, whether if it's a nurse midwife who's a teacher, she has to be a practicing nurse midwife who's teaching. There are no separate acts as of date at the state level or at the center which regulates nursing and midwifery practice. I brought this picture to tell you that if you look at age-old years, the midwife was a woman who independently practiced, and every female who gave birth requested for a midwife. We have to get back the midwife into our society. There are shortcomings, and we have to work towards making sure these shortcomings do not appear in our new bill. We have to make sure that there's a focus on continued training. We need to make sure there is a good focus on the code and standard of practice for conducting, the ethics, disciplinary procedures under fitness to practice. If my skills are not good, I have to go back to the classroom, practice my skills, improve my skills, then get my license renewed, and then come back into clinical practice. Therefore, this will ensure our stakeholders are safe. Our stakeholders are our patients. They are safe. And once they know that I do my job well, nobody can stop us from having an independent practice. Establish process under appeal and offenses, penalties listed under offenses. If you look abroad, they have very clear, if you make a mistake, you have penalized. Here, it just goes off. Once I know that if my practice is not good, I'm supposed to give a episiotomy and my episiotomy is not accurate, I am liable to be punished because I do not have a right to harm any patients. Secondly, we need to have adequate funding at the council to make sure our continuing education program, everything is kept in pace. The newer technologies, the centers are supported. We need nurse-led clinics. There is no harm to have these nurse-led clinics, but they need funding. Many of our nurses do not have adequate funding to start their own nurse-led clinics. Council can support there. The shortcomings of the act, which we are asking even in the new bill to be ensured, is clear terminologies of who is a nurse, what is nursing, who is a midwife, what is midwifery, what is the scope of practice, and specifying the scope of practice. What is it that the midwife should be able to do? She should be able to conduct assessment at the antenatal period. She should identify whether the lady is going to be able to have a normal delivery or not. She should be able to monitor this patient in a postnatal period, make sure her neonate is taken care of. That should be what we should ask that the midwife should be able to do. There are various governing bodies. Most of the time, we do not have adequate people at the council. They are already bogged with admission, examination, inspection, registration, re-registration. So where do they have the time to check the quality of our practice? So we need to have enough people who will, the councils will organize regularly programs to ensure our competencies are at the mark. A lot of time at the council, time is wasted in duplicating of activities. One is inspection. State council does inspection, Indian Nursing Council does inspection. Have one committee. It can be members can be from the state and at the center. Can form one committee for inspection. That will reduce the time because you finish your state inspection, then you're gearing up for your Indian Council Center inspection. You can have one inspection. Therefore, the load on the council will also reduce. It's difficult to ensure that every student receives required amount of practice as recommended for successful completion of the course. There are so many procedures that we have which we do not get to practice in clinical areas. The biggest fight that we have is related to conducting deliveries. We have 20 deliveries. But when you look at the pressure in the labor room, most of the nurses end up doing observation many a times in many institutions because doctors want to do the practice. Doctors want to conduct the delivery. Suturing is done, cleaning up, etc. is left to the nurse student. So she should get a chance to conduct the delivery, to do monitoring of the patient, to do the episiotomy, to suture the episiotomy. She should get a chance. 2 episiotomies, even 2 episiotomies they don't get to do. The teacher who is there in the clinical area has to fight to make sure her students get the required cases to complete. Only then we can show, if you complete all those 20 cases, some amount of proficiency will be coming. That does not guarantee expertism. Students often end up with their textbooks with fabricated cases as a way to pass course. Many times, many of the examiners will know that the name of the patient is changed, the casebook content from the previous batch has been copied by the next student because there are no cases. They do not have a chance to conduct those cases. Or teachers have given them a scenario, and according to the scenario, they're supposed to maintain the document. So how would we have proficient midwives? Inability to ensure the required practical experience in midwifery for male candidates has been persistent challenge. I'm quoting this from a study which is done, which is basically focusing on Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. If we want students to have midwifery, then we should make sure that they get a chance to practice. Remember, these 2 states have a lot of cultural factors over there. So make sure that this is taken care of. In certain states, when the female students are doing midwifery, the male students are taking extra hours in psychiatry. Why do they have an issue? Because in Madhya Pradesh or in Rajasthan, history shows that the number of nursing students who are female is less as compared to males. Studies have said that men have stigma. We have a male doctor who is an obstetrician. Why can't we have a male nurse who can be a midwife? If we have to have males, make sure that they do have adequate amount of clinical experience and ability to practice. In a female-dominated profession, leadership is male-dominated in India, quoting one study which I found related to Rajasthan. Many a times, the male-dominated person is not a nurse. It's most of the time it ends up being a doctor. Rajasthan, the curriculum is regulated under the leadership of a male nurse registrar. Practice experience is overseen by a male. State health ministry, because they say that we do not have enough of female students. As I mentioned earlier, 20 deliveries also is hard to get. Sometimes people have got 5 cases. In all our practice, the hurdling is the doctors. Doctors are holding the key positions in nursing councils. As a result of which, they do not understand the issues, the problems of the nurse or the midwife. And often these issues get shelved, they get pushed under the carpet. And the last part is the political involvement. A strong political will is everywhere. Female nurses being a smaller portion, being feminine, being a patriarchal system, female nurses are not able to fight it out. We need to make our female nurses very, very vocal. Political involvement is required from the female nurse also. The barriers is the medical domination, which is reported in many studies as a key barrier for independent midwifery practice. Just as doctors have a legal frame, we need to have a legal framework for independent midwifery practice. We need to say that every woman who is pregnant first has to report to the midwife. She has to be assessed by the midwife. The midwife has to be the one to decide whether she will be delivered in a nurse-led midwife clinic or by a doctor. Just like abroad, if you feel it's a complicated case, the midwife refers the patient to the higher center, where the doctor will take over based on a detailed report written by the midwife. We need to have legal framework very clear for midwifery. Inadequate funding for coordinating, re-educating, training, upscaling, updating the competency that is required for practice. I've already mentioned that earlier, that we need to have adequate fund for sending regular training programs for our nurse midwives. What are the solutions? There has been talk continuously by many people that we need to have direct entry midwifery education. And does make sense. If you look at from the time I'm looking at nursing from the time I've been a student, we have so many cadres that have come, and Praveena has highlighted those cadres. If a DAI could independently conduct a delivery, why can't we take in a student who is willing to learn midwifery, give her all the detailed teaching of midwifery, and let her be an independent midwife? So then we will have all these various cadres disappearing. Council has to follow, this has to be done by the council, the regulatory structure. You can have all the experts giving advices for appropriate amendment so that the act is created separately for Nursing Midwifery Council. We cannot keep merging. We have to have a Midwifery Council with Midwifery Act, independent. Only then we'll have a recognition given to midwifery. We want to reduce unwanted cadres. When I say unwanted cadres, if I decide I do a BSc nursing, I've done my 6 months, I should be able to do the 18-month program or short-term program as midwife and go in for midwifery. If I've done MSc with obstetric midwife, I can be the chief of the midwifery clinic, and I can have under me a BSc nurse who has done a midwifery and she can work, or I can have a direct entry midwife who can work. So these, as Praveena mentioned also in her thing, that with the nurse practitioner for midwifery, we would automatically have these TABs and ASHAs disappearing. This direct nurse midwife has to be registered only as a nurse midwife. The only best thing we could do is, we don't want to wash away all our ANMs. Get our ANMs to upgrade themselves. We need to have a program to upgrade them so that they can be registered not as an auxiliary nurse midwife, but as a midwife. And I'm sure if we can regulate them, train them up again, and put them back as midwives, with their experience, the skill will not be a problem. The little brushing up that we need to do with knowledge, that is what we need to do. And we can make sure they are excellent midwives for maternal and child health care. We should make sure that we protect the title for midwife. We have a registration which says nurse midwife. Many of us who are practicing have forgotten that we are midwives also. Those who are in the hospital are getting rotation. And they say, for the last 15 years, I've been working in midwife, and now they transferred me to the labor room. I don't even remember anything what I have learned that time. Why don't we train them? Give them a choice to choose that they want to continue as nurse or they want to have midwife. So we do not end up with shortage of midwives. We need to protect our function. Our function as a midwife, right from the time the woman conceives, I am going to attend on her as a midwife till she delivers. The right of me as a midwife to attend on a woman should not be taken away from me as a midwife. Emergency situations can be sent off to the doctor, but only a midwife should decide that yes, the medical practitioner can deliver this complicated case. Antenatal and postnatal have not been included into the act. We need to make sure that antenatal and postnatal care has to be given away to the midwife. This will ensure that our mothers are healthy and delivering healthy babies, and we have healthy citizens. There should be a focus on constant improving the scope of midwifery practice. We need to keep on reviewing. When you looked at if you look on the net, most of the acts are pre-independence, 1930, 1947. We need to make sure we do appreciate the fact of the new bill, but it should be friendly for the nurse as well as a midwife. We have to improve her scope, make it more broader, protect her functions, make sure the standards of competencies are spelled out very clearly for the registered midwife. Concluding remarks, if we want to have a good body of nurses, midwives, which is leading our healthcare for maternal and child, our pregnancies have to be safe. We want to reduce the mortality and morbidity. We have to have nurse midwives who are our primary healthcare providers in India, well-trained, well-educated. We have to make sure our regulatory failures are not there, which is at the present for nurse midwives. We have to make sure that every graduating midwife and nurse has sufficient knowledge and skill, because we place the life of our pregnant mothers in their hand. We do not want to place them at risk. We want to empower every midwife and nurse with the ability to take decision. We do not want the doctors telling them what decision should be done. Decision-making power within the healthcare and the workforce should be in the purview of the nurse and the midwife. It should be their right. But that is possible only when we create strong evidence-based regulatory structure and we have more researches that are done in those areas. These research findings will guide our midwives and nurses in making sure their practice is strong. The leadership is strong at the midwifery level as well as at the nursing level. These are my references. Thank you.
Panelists, participant, any questions to madam? You can ask any questions if you have. Okay, thank you, ma'am, for sharing us.
Madam Usha has something.
Yeah, Usha, ma'am is telling.
I appreciate Nancy's the whole thing that she has put it very concisely, the concerns. Only my thing is ki, let's start from the whatever to change the regulations will take a long time, but wherever we are, there we start in putting in the students' minds evidence, whatever evidence is available, and all these, as somebody said, these new things are coming up. NPM, people are. It's not in our course. Let's not wait for the INC or anybody to do it. We all of us, SOMI members should try to talk to all the colleges, have consultation with the college faculty to incorporate these things. So that is at our level, we can at least do this, and there is need. I'm sure people who are hearing should not only hear, should go back and put it into practice. Nancy and everybody has put so much of effort in preparing their matter, है ना? Evidence निकाल के इसमें डाला है, ढूंढ के, तो उसका कोई फायदा तो उठाएं. I take some small pics with my this thing so that it keeps. I mean, I am reminded of this. Yeah. So thank you, Nancy. It was really good. Great.
Yeah, we need to stop talking and we need to start acting.
Acting, yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Priya. Preeti.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, 2 seconds. Everybody, please switch on your mobile photos. That is your video, so that we can click the photos. Panelist first. Supriya, ma'am. Shri Priya, ma'am. Supriya. Navneet.
Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Prava, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
और कौन है वो कौन है नवनीत कौन है?
Very enriching sessions. I was hearing all of you. It was really excellent sessions. Now I am inspired to go for midwifery.
I think we all need to work for some years in midwifery.
Yeah.
दीपाली तेरा डाल. Other participants also, please, on your videos. हो गया? Manonmani ma'am, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready, steady, go. Yeah.
Hey, cheese.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Over. Other participants, please. We finished with the panelists. Other participants.
Okay, please excuse me. I have another meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Other participants. Supriya ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Be ready for the presentation, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Participants, please switch on your photo, videos. Don't waste the time. Please switch on. Okay, उनका option नहीं है ना.
आता है.
We can move on to the session. सुप्रिया मैम का डालो. डाला? Yeah, Supriya ma'am, you can start. We'll share your PPT.
Should I try sharing from my side?
No. We'll share,
Okay.
ma'am. You start.
Okay.
You start talking.
Okay. Ma'am, was I audible for some time? The initial part, it was.
Yeah.
So
You were audible. You can start with the topic now.
Okay, I'll directly go on to the topic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now already since yesterday, today also, actually maximum things, whatever is going to come into my sessions are already been discussed by Praveena ma'am, Sudha ma'am, Nancy ma'am. So I will just review on those things. Again, coming on to the concept is like we should understand who is a midwife in our country, a personnel who is trained to and who provides comprehensive continuing care right from the pregnancy, during her labor, delivery, after the birth of her babies, and in addition to this role. She even provides care during family planning, immunization, reproductive health, abortion care, and adolescent care. So this is basically a picture of midwife in our country. And this midwife to practice legally needs registration. Registration basically means licensure to practice. In our, ma'am, next slide. Yes. So in our country, when a candidate successfully completes and gets recognition as Bachelor of Nursing or Diploma in General Nursing and Midwifery course, as which is prescribed in our country and is registered under the State Nursing Council, then we designate this person as a registered midwife. So here we can just conclude saying that whoever receives the certification or registration legally is allowed to practice independently. It is her own choice where she would like to practice. Ma'am, next slide. Ma'am, next slide. Yes. So next question comes, do midwives practice independently in our country? What do you feel? I mean, already we are discussing, we know, now we have shared also. So yes, we do practice midwifery, but they are under circumstantial, situational practices, or there are some clandestine or hidden, unacknowledged practices. Ma'am, next slide. Yes, circumstantial or situational practices where after completion of my certification, I may go to any maternity units or any private hospitals. I can work in private health centers, sub centers. Basically, what I'm trying to do over here is I'm trying to deliver care to the patient, that is specifically the maternity services I am delivering. There are some unacknowledged practices which are being done, which is not known to maximum of a population, especially nurses, that there are independent midwives, those who are having or they are running their own birthing centers. They are having their own birth preparedness units. They are practicing as an lactational practitioners. They're even having their own antenatal and postnatal counseling centers. I would like to share few already. Usha madam, I had already discussed with ma'am. Ma'am, next slide. Yes. So already Navneeta ma'am, who is from Uttarakhand, since last 2 years, she is running her own midwife-led clinic, which is known as Jana Jagruti Kendra. Miss Sunita, madam has already discussed about her, who is a government midwife who is working in Indore, has her own wellness center, and in collaboration with the government people, she is doing it. Dr. Geeta Saxena is one of the person. Ma'am, next. Then already we have discussed about SWA, which is the Choitram's Natural Birthing Center, which is led by Dr. Usha Ukhande ma'am. Next. Then we have Dr. Vijaya Krishnan also, who is an certified CPM. She's a certified midwife practitioner from US, but she's practicing independently in Hyderabad. Next. Then we have already heard from Dr. Sujata Sawant, who is working as an independent lactation practitioner in D.Y. Patil Hospital, Pune. Next. Priyanka, she is also being a certified midwife in Kochi and she has her own natural birthing center. Next. So these all independent practitioners or midwife practices, those who are dealing with, they are basically doing what this all screens, all things which are present on the screen. That is, they are giving pre-pregnancy advices about birth options, childbirth education classes. They are even emphasizing on continuous midwifery care during pregnancy. They are motivating the parents to choose the place for their births, postnatal care, then lactation consultancies. They are even referring the patients in case if advice is needed from any medical personnel, water births, breech births. So these are all the services which the midwives are delivering. So we can understand over here, a pregnancy is a normal physiological phenomena. We need not need to think that it is something abnormal. So as a midwife, I can definitely practice and give care to my patients. Next. Okay, so going on to the issues, these are the few issues which I have identified, and already there are many which are been discussed. So we'll just go roughly through this. The first is the fear and the phobia. Now, everybody in our country is, once they complete their degree or their GNM course, everybody is certified as GNM. Sorry, they are certified as RN and RM. So by default, I am a midwife. Once I go into the clinicals, wherever I choose to practice, I am having the fear of independent management. I don't know exactly what is my role. I don't have a defined role. I am I'm very scared about anything happens to my patient. Who is going to protect me? What about the accountability? So the fear is the most important and a very common issue which is seen among the midwives. Next. Yes. Next comes is the low self-esteem. Already, ma'am has discussed with us. Nancy ma'am has discussed about discrimination, status, recognition in the society. The main thing what I feel is lack in confidence and the courage which should be there. So yes, the low self-esteem is also one of the biggest issue. Next. Okay, knowledge and skills. Over a decade, if we see now, see, if I was a student, I have taken my training from Sassoon General Hospital. If I remember to those days when I was practicing into my maternity units, around 30 to 40 deliveries in a day we used to conduct. But if I see to the scenario today, I'm working as a principal in a college of nursing. But for my students, when I opt for practices, I'm trying to hunt for the hospitals. In this place, we don't have any maternity unit which has more than 50 beds of maternity services. It's only Ghati Hospital, which is a government hospital, and it does not permit private institutes to go and give experience to the students. So here we are lacking in providing hand skill experience to our students. We are not delivering quality of education to the students. The resource constraint over here basically I feel is a teacher who is delivering education to the students. We are only providing bookish knowledge, because if I see to the teachers, those who are nowadays, they are only stuck up to their PPT and only book knowledge they are giving. Nobody is emphasizing on the skills. Lack of opportunities for the practices. That means if I'm going into any hospital and practicing, I do not get only maternity unit. I may be rotated into different areas, due to which I may forget about my maternity education over there. So continuing nursing education is also an important aspect, but we are again lacking into it. In our country, continue CNEs which we are trying to follow, the basic concept is only gathering the credentials, gathering the credential points for what? Renewal of my certification or registration. So I'm not bothered about the content or the knowledge what I'm going to get through it. The next comes is about the curriculum. Yes, definitely we need to revise our curriculum, because here we are not actually understanding who is a registered nurse and who is a registered midwife. If we see to the curriculum of midwifery which is there, it is into the third year BSc, and the examination has been conducted into the final year. So the teachers also and the students also have a mentality that ki chalo complete karna hai, isliye just randomly finish off the portion, and when the students go into the fourth year, they have to just mug up the things, and for the sake of passing they are just giving the examinations. Same goes with the practical examination. I mean, we have a co-education with us. We have boys also and girls also. It's very difficult for the boys for me to send to any institute for practice, because the social acceptance also is not over here from the patients. So there's a lot of problems in providing the skilled services, skill education to the students. Next. Yes, a very big notion which has been identified among the midwives is, until and unless I am been given the authority to prescribe, I cannot practice. So let's think about this. Ki really, do we need this authority? See, midwives and nurses are accounting for around 38 to 40% of the health force in our India. Undoubtedly, we are the critical arm of this country's health force to deliver the maternal health services. And evidences have suggested that normal births don't require presence of any obstetrician, and it can be dealt and provided by the nurses. So why are we revolving around this practice? For a midwife to practice independently, she should be adequately knowledgeable, highly skillful. She should have courage, have dedication towards her profession. She should be able to identify normal, perform assessments, examination, conduct deliveries, educate your client whenever needed. See, in the field of midwifery, I would say plenty of problems would be there, but they would be only solved by appropriate education to the patient at all stages of maternity cycle. So we have to understand over here that there is no need for us to understand that yes, if I am given the authority to practice, prescribe, then only I would be able to practice. Next. Quality care, yes, this is the most and important hindrance which I would feel, because we keep on creeping saying that the midwives have a very low status. There is no social acceptance which is there from the public. This all things are present. Why? Because of low quality of care. Nowadays everybody is finding shortcuts. There is some sort of midway learning. There are some adjusted practices or some illegal practices which are also been done, due to which the quality care has been hampered. So that is also a biggest issue. Next. Dominance, yes, already a lot of been things have been spoke about this. I would just like to quote saying that this is a traditional rivalry again among the doctors and the midwives, which is coming around, and we still are not able to overcome this. These people are just trying to control our autonomy, authority, and we are not able to come openly forward and practice. We have to understand that any MBBS personnel, when he gets his certification, there is nowhere it is written as doctor on it. It's written as Bachelor of Medicine or Bachelor of Surgery. Similarly, when from our nursing also we write it as Bachelor of Nursing or Masters in your specialization of obstetrics and gynecological nursing. So we don't want to compete to any doctors. We are equivalent. We should be shining as midwives. We don't want ourselves to represent to the public saying that we are doctors. We should come up saying that yes, we are midwives, and people should recognize us and accept as midwives. Once this will start, automatically this dominance would come down. There is very little authority with the nursing and the midwifery regulators to help the nurses, those who are facing problems. Next. So this, yeah, a very most and important thing is the personal struggle. Maybe I may overcome all the other issues, but my personal struggles still are over here. I mean, if I want to start my own birthing unit, or I want to start any OPD also, the place, the finance, manpower, the time management for it. So I have to again revolve around all these things. To pacify these things, it will take a long time for me. So midwives even think about this, and they again are taking a step back and not coming forward for it. Next. Challenges. Okay, already I feel so. Next slide. The important challenge in our country is about the cadre and the nomenclature, which has already been discussed by ma'am. Next slide. Yes, we already see the entry of levels of midwifery education courses in our country. We can see A&M also has a syllabus of midwifery, GNM, BSc, MSc, everybody is learning. But are we identifying them at the same level? We are calling everybody as a midwife. So is everybody equivalent to care for the patients? Because when we say we should be midwife, there are the International Confederation of Midwives has given us some 8 competencies. When a person is full-fledged with those competencies, then only I should be telling myself as a competent midwife. But I feel so we need to revise these things. If you compete it with the other countries, we have level of entries for midwifery education courses like certified midwife, certified nurse midwife, certified professional midwives. So everybody differ in that job requirement description and even the salary. Everybody knows exactly what is my role and what am I supposed to do. Next. Next slide.
Yeah.
Okay. Comprehensive, strong regulatory mechanism for policy making. Yes, we know our Indian Nursing Council, State Nursing Council, these are our regulatory bodies. We have autonomous organizations like Society of Midwives, we have professional organizations like TNAI, we have research and advocacy groups like Answers. These all should come together and work in cognizance so that whatever problems, issues, or challenges are there, we should be able to resolve them together. I can just give a simple example for this. Next slide, please. If we see to our country, there are around 29 nursing councils over India. Councils which designates themselves as nurse and midwifery council. If we see to our own council of Maharashtra, we are Maharashtra Nursing Council. We don't know where midwife is existing into it. So these are small things which we have to work on, but it cannot be done at a state level. We have to do it uniformly from the central, and it should be implemented towards the state. There are many other things which needs to be taken care. The education, the type of education, or the educational the outline of the staffing pattern, whatever is there in the government and the private, it differs. Then we have regulatory system for midwifery and nursing. We should be working on this. There are weaknesses in the current regulatory system. Gender and power are some of the factors influencing the regulation in our country. Midwifery under nursing is a big regulatory challenge. We have to identify that midwives are different. I mean, they should not be a part of nursing. I mean, nurse is a baseline education, and further specialization should be done to designate this individual as a midwife. Next slide. Okay, duplication of services. I just had a thought that, see, around 60 to 70% of the population is residing into a rural India, due to which we are finding a lot of shortage for skilled manpower, specifically about the doctors, and even they are not ready to go and work into these areas. We being midwives, when we say that we are able to conduct normal, why are we not contributing to this? I mean, we should be taking the normal role, and whenever we are identifying something abnormal, it should be handled by the obstetrician. So the workforce, the things would be managed appropriately if we stop this duplication of services. Next. Then comes his leadership. Yes, this is, I mean, we have leaders, but they are not actually being acknowledged by many of the people. Like we said, there are clandestine practices which are being done. So we need more role models. We need our midwives to get empowered. And we want our regulatory system to raise the voices for nurses whenever it is required. Reinforcement of midwifery practices needs to be done. I mean, we should be identifying midwives as a special force, a specialization course, and should be involving into our health system. Next. The important thing comes is the support system. Yes, maybe 110 times it has even come into my mind. Yes, I am also a midwife. I have done my specialization in obstetrics and gynecology. I have pursued my PhD also. I came, when I joined this institute, I was in a very lot of enthusiasm. Yes, I want to go and practice. I want to open up my own counseling center. So things come, but at a time it is like, I don't have an appropriate support system. There are many other things which comes into the minds of the people, and we again stop, we again cool down. We want this support system, like, these organizations like SOMI, Answers, even our state council, Indian Nursing Council. Everybody should be helping the midwives to come forward and take over for our maternity services. Here I feel so. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the last slide. Thank you, and it can be open for discussion.
Thank you, Supriya. I think so. There is a question which is given by again Mala Singh ma'am. Why recognition is not taken place? Maybe because nurses and midwives do not take pride that they are nurses or midwives. She has answered for that.
Yes, ma'am. Right.
Yeah, because they are not telling they are midwives. So they are not taking any pride to tell that, okay, I am a nurse or I am a midwife. That's why till now we don't have a recognition in our field of nursing.
Ma'am, that is the problem. Ki why we are not having pride in telling that yes, I am a midwife.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Supriya ma'am, for detailed explanation. The explanation is already, it is shared by the morning as well as yesterday panelist, but also like you have given many of the informations for the participants. Thank you, Supriya ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. We'll move on to the next speaker. That is our last speaker for today.
Hello.
Yeah, one more. The last speaker is Madam Prachi, that is the Professor Prachi Darab. She's completed her BSc.
Hello, Preeti. Can
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think Madam Mala Singh wants to speak something. So, is it possible to unmute her regarding the previous session?
Mala Singh. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We'll do that.
Yeah. Then we'll go on to the next session.
Yes, ma'am.
After that. Huh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Madam.
Good afternoon.
Madam Mala Singh. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you for getting my request exceeded, since I had put this.
No problem, ma'am. Thank you so much for.
And it was very nice webinar going on when I had. I'm hearing since beginning. First speaker was Sudha Aradhi, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yes.
after that also I wanted to compliment her and put my question. Then I put in chat box that somebody answered regarding how many institution or maternity homes are there where families are permitted of spouses is permitted to participate in labor in the delivery of his wife. So there have been some answers regarding that. One question was that, and recently this speaker, they were mentioning about that you have a co-ed education and there are male students, but they find difficulty in getting the midwife cases or to conduct the deliveries because the clients do not accept. So my one question was there, why the male nurses are not accepted as midwife, though obstetricians are accepted, male obstetrician. I know there are many ladies, they like to go to male gynecologists or obstetricians instead of going to female. There are people, they had communicated also to me. So why it is male midwives are? Has anybody done any study? And that was one question. Another one I had told regarding the recognition of nurse and midwife. Why, though midwife is very old, before even doctors came as obstetrician, midwife was existing. But why it has not got its status and acceptance in the society? Because those people who are very good also, they don't call themselves as a midwife. Either they pose like they doctors and they accept when the community says, oh, she's a doctor, means medical professional have that way, doctors, they say. If they say, no, don't call me doctor, you call me only nurse and midwife, then only recognition will take place. That was, I don't know. This is my opinion.
Ma'am, actually, ma'am, can I?
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah, ma'am, actually, I was just trying to elaborate. I am in a place, a region which is Marathwada. I mean, it's like quite different from the metropolitan cities. The place over here, the mentality and the culture is very, very different over here. So I do have a problem over here for the male nurses. Yes, it is like, I mean, I was from a place like Pune where we have never faced these things. But since last 2 years, I'm experiencing this where actually, yes, they don't allow the male students even to enter into the OPD. That is the actual situation which is there. And my thing was that ki practice hands-on experience for the students, I'm finding it difficult in a place over here because the private maternity centers, ma'am, 50 bedded ke upar koi bhi nahi hai. There is no single hospital and it's not full-fledged. It's only Ghati Hospital, which is a government, and this government doesn't allow us to practice. They're not permitting us to practice. So ultimately our students are not getting any chance for skilled experiences.
So no, that is a local, that place's problem, but I'm talking in general, in all over India, I'm talking. And
No,
since
ma'am.
that time midwife course came, I mean, so midwife was part for the males also. Initially they
Right,
had
ma'am.
substitute subject. There were a neurology, if nephrology, I don't know if a civil also must be. When initially this GNM was open for male nurses also, so they had a substitute subject instead of midwife for that course. But I don't know whether anybody has done that study, why it is not accepted when male doctor is accepted by a female. Yes, Dr. Praveena, I can see you are raising your hand. I heard you also. Really, you all are very expert in that field, and I always wait to hear you also, Praveena. I know it. Okay. Yes, yes. I can't hear. The voice is not there. There is some problem. We cannot
Network,
hear.
yeah, network problem is there, ma'am.
So I couldn't hear Dr. Praveena. She raised her hand.
I typed it for you.
Okay, okay. You type it.
Yeah. Ma'am, can we move on?
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you for permitting me.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, this is our next speaker, that is Professor Prachidara, completed BSc MSc from LT College of Nursing, Mumbai, and she's doing her PhD from SNDT University, life member of several professional organizations, presented several papers at the national and international level, organized and attended various conferences and workshops, and she has published several papers in the national and international journals. Recently, she has completed her virtual capacity building program from midwifery faculty that is organized by INC and UNPF. And at presently, she's working as a principal in the Sau Minatai Thakre Institute of Nursing Education, that is TMC Thane. So over to you, ma'am.
A very good afternoon to one and all.
Good afternoon,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Preeti. I will share the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Please permit me. Hello,
You can share.
Preeti.
Yeah, you can share, ma'am. Yeah.
A very good afternoon to everybody again. And I pay my regards to all the eminent personalities who are attending this conference, and also all the participants who are waiting till since morning and through afternoon, and who are all are there and listening to my presentations now. And of course, my earlier speakers have elaborated many things on independent nurse practitioners, and I'm going to speak on the independent nurse practitioner role in midwifery in India. Basically, I will start that midwifery is an essential part of health system. We already know, and quality midwifery care will strengthen our health system in India. Healthy women are also key to the health of any nation. Providing health care to women is not only the health issue, but a matter of human right issue, which we have to not to forget. In women's life, childbirth is a special event. A mother will never forget a midwife who has delivered her baby and who has with the woman during the childbirth. And hence midwife is an obvious catalyst in providing safe motherhood in the fabric of our society. Independent nurse practitioners are uniquely qualified to resolve unmet needs in primary healthcare by serving as an individual's point of first contact with the healthcare system. They provide a personalized, client-oriented, comprehensive continuum of care and integrates all other aspects of healthcare over a period of time. They also focus of care is on promotion and maintenance of wellness, but it also provides for management of acute and stable chronic illnesses in order to maintain the continuity of the care. We should not feel that independent should not be interpreted as alone, because there are clinical situations when an independent nurse practitioner is practicing that she may have to seek the assistance of other qualified practitioners. So it has to be a collaborative practice. Then nurse practitioner in midwifery, this concept again we have discussed by other speakers. Just I will put this one in one slide. The NPM is recognized as a responsible and accountable professional who works in partnership with women. The NPM functions in any settings, providing preventive care, promotion of normal birth, early and timely detection of complications, carrying out emergency, refer and facilitates access to full range of medical care. Nurse practitioner in midwifery also practice midwifery. Again, we have dealt deeply. Madam has told us about the midwifery-led care-based practices, which is on the principle of dignity, privacy, and compassion for women and respectful maternity care. She works as an independent provider and in the subcenter and primary health care. And also she can work as a part of a big team in big hospital, as a part of a team in a big hospitals. The unique role of midwife is outlined by the International Confederation of Midwives. I will highlight that it says that the partnership with women to provide the health of the mothers and families, respect for human dignity, and for women as a persons with full human rights. She advocates for the women so that their voices are heard. She's culturally sensitive, including working with the women and healthcare providers to overcome those cultural practices that harm women and babies. We all are aware that there are many cultural practices which can harm women and babies during the midwifery period. The focus on the health promotion and disease prevention that views pregnancy as a normal life event. So midwifery always focuses that it is a normal life event. Now let's see what are the roles of the independent nurse midwife. A midwife provides high quality of antenatal, intranatal, postnatal care to maximize the women's health during and after pregnancy, detect problems early and manage or refer for any complications. So NPM what will do, she will facilitate a positive birth experience for women and their families, placing women at the center of care, inclusive of psychosocial, spiritual, and cultural background across community setting and within the institution, contributing to natural childbirth, providing humanized care to improve the quality of care. Then as a coordinator, she will bring people and activities together to function in a harmony to achieve the desired objectives. NPM will coordinate care for all women through holistic centers are there, voluntary and social services for women, so that every woman's birth experience will be satisfactory regardless of a risk factors. Then work within the legal and professional boundaries. Now NNM regulations is coming up, or in even Indian Nursing Council has drafted it. So she has to work within the legal and professional boundaries by understanding their roles within the border of healthcare profession and engage interprofessionally with the doctors, other nurses, and the healthcare providers as a part of a maternity care team. Then as a leader, the leader directs, influences, and persuades others to make the change positively, influence people's health, includes persuading and motivating people, directing activities, effective two-way communication, and resolving the conflicts and coordinating the plan. So the role of NPM is to plan, provide, and review of women's care with her inputs, of course, and the agreement from the initial antenatal assessment through to the postnatal period. The MPM will be playing the leading role, will reduce the admission to hospital with maternal complications, and the result is significantly less interventions during the childbirth. We know that the 85% of complications can be averted by the good midwifery practices. The evidences have shown that. So as a leader, she can reduce these complications. Then as a communicator, the NPM will understand the effectiveness of communication, and it will help her to develop the trusting relationship with the women, family members, and healthcare providers. And of course, it will be a big challenge for her when she starts practicing. As a manager, she has to recognize the abnormalities and complications and implement appropriately management, including managing emergency care and timely referral if any complications arises. Then as an educator, NPM will provide high quality cultural sensitivity health education in order to promote healthy, helpful family life and positive parenting. She will educate the women individually or in groups to have knowledge about the family planning, a healthier pregnancy during, including diet, nutrition, mother-baby bonding, breastfeeding support, family integrity, and optimal to start life to enhance health and disease prevention. As a counselor, she will provide information and counsel women on perinatal self-care, including, again, nutrition, hygiene. So she will counsel the mother and the family members for a positive outcome. Then she, as a facilitator, a positive childbirth experience for women and their families, placing women at the center of the care, including the psychosocial, spiritual, cultural background across the community setting. So the woman will be the center of at the center. So qualitative humanized care can be provided to the mother. Then as an advisor, NPM will give advice to development of a plan and promote the concept of birth preparedness. She will also give advice during the complicated situation so that it will help the mothers and family to take the informed decision. So mothers will be able to take the informed decision as an advice. Then as a clinical practitioner, the MPM may practice autonomously in many settings. She can work at the home, community, hospitals, clinics, or health units. Mostly in MLC, you know that it is envisaged by the government of India. She has to maintain the records, and these are documentation is very important. So which will help the NPM to provide essential and safe, effective care to the mothers. As a supervisor, she will be the effective supervisory framework. So she will be the lead and improve the standard of midwifery care and better outcomes for the women. The MPM should facilitate supportive supervision and be seen as a team member who motivates the subordinates and guarantees the rights of the individual. So the PM has to be a good motivator. So she can motivate the subordinates and help them to do the midwifery practices. As an advocate, the current health system offers depersonalized and fragmented services. Many women who are poor and disadvantaged are frustrated, and the nurse becomes an advocate for women, pleading their cause and acting on their behalf. She will advocate for ethical, compassionate, respectful, and culturally sensitive care in pregnancy, labor, and child health and postpartum, including promoting the women's autonomy and the rights to informed decision making. As a researcher, she investigates problem in order to improve the midwifery care and expand the scope of midwifery practice. She will be doing many qualitative and quantitative researches. Based upon these evidences, she will be practicing the midwifery in hospital as well as in the community settings. As a collaborator, so she will be working jointly with the other common projects, clients, other nurses, physicians, health educators, social workers, physiotherapists, nutritionists, psychologists, epidemiologists, and policy makers. The good collaboration between the healthcare professionals is a key element of safe and effective care. But creating a collaborative culture can be challenging. It is very necessary that a collaborative culture we have to develop. Along with the collaboration requires negotiating. Now we are at the negotiating aspect with the different professional orientations and the organizational constraints of the hierarchy. So NPM role would be supposed to overburden the secondary and tertiary care facilities that do not have enough obstetricians, helping meet India's sustainable development goals related to infant and maternal health. It also improves the quality of care and help women have a positive birth experience. Now we have seen that India is embarking and will be on several reforms in the healthcare sector at all levels, making it imperative for having nurse practitioners have an active role at the primary, secondary, and tertiary care levels. Taking lessons from the other developed countries, it is also important that the nurse practitioners have to take up a public health leadership role in the country like India. Unless they take up a leadership role and be an assertive, they cannot practice midwifery alone midwifery in India. This has been explored, and this further will be explored further through the National Medical Commission Bill upcoming, and also National Nursing and Midwifery Bill that intends to authorize nurse practitioner to perform an active role towards improving the Indian healthcare sector. So again, it is a big issue or a challenge has been discussed by my earlier speakers. So it is a big challenge and we have to be very assertive for us to have an independent nurse practitioner. I feel that role of a nurse midwife, that we have seen that in Indian system, we have a ANM, we have RNRM, and they are playing the midwifery role at present. So we have to have a transition in this role. So nurse midwifery practitioner, it will take a time and we have to take a lot of efforts to do this transition. It is imperative that right from the beginning, the MPM role has to be established and clarified. We have to be very assertive in this matter. There should be an integration of MPM in the public health system. We have to demand for this. It should also be urged that the MPM new role in India has to be well defined. It has to be well defined and understood by the society, by the community, and it has to be certain by all collaborating healthcare providers so that there will be a successful transition into MPM role and also its acceptance by the entire community and also other healthcare providers. So this was a small presentation on my behalf. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Prachi ma'am. Participant, any questions to ma'am? Thank you very much, Prachi ma'am, for giving us in detail regarding the independent nurse practitioner and their roles as a midwifery in India. Now I call upon Shri Priya Gopal Krishnan ma'am to tell few words as we are ending up this particular session. Shri Priya ma'am.
Thank you, Preeti. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Preeti, for giving me a chance to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
And First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for hosting and organizing such a wonderful conference. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Also, a big thank you to the panelists on behalf of SOMI Maharashtra chapter. I am the chapter secretary, so on behalf of SOMI Maharashtra, I thank all the panelists, starting from Lieutenant Colonel Mrs. Manonmani Venkat. Ma'am has always been a very good, very strong supporter of independent midwifery practice. And SOMI is grateful to ma'am for contributing her knowledge and sharing her knowledge to this conference and to all the participants. Thank you to also Dr. Nilima, Dr. Supriya Patel, Dr. Rita, Dr. Manisha, Dr. Sujata Sawant, Dr. Sudha Reddy, Professor Pravina Madalkar, Dr. Usha Ukande, Dr. Supriya, Dr. Nancy, and Professor Prachi. All of them have spoken so much about independent midwifery practice and have laid the foreground for our forthcoming state level advocacy meeting, which we are going to hold on January 9th. So I invite all the participants to join us on January 9th for the state level advocacy meeting. This advocacy meeting is especially to discuss ways and means of how in Maharashtra we can actually promote independent nurse practice. And so we have speakers who are going to discuss and who are going to advocate. And there are members from the state directorate and from the government sector from Maharashtra. And so I invite all the panelists and the attendees who have participated in this conference to be a part of this particular meeting, which we are going to have on 9th, that is at 3 p.m. I'll be sharing the flyer with you very soon. So a very big thank you to all the panelists because they have set the ground and they have inspired all of us to actually talk about independent midwifery practice. The organizers have identified a very apt conference title, that is Rebirth of Midwifery. And now in this year of the nurse and the midwife, this is a very important topic. And we at SOMI are talking about it very actively too. So I'm sure that in the very short, the near future, there is going to be a massive change which we are going to see. So please remember Saturday, 9th January, 3 p.m. we are going to have the state level advocacy meeting. A special thank you to all the attendees who have participated in this conference. I hope all of you have been inspired and are ready to take up challenging positions and act as independent midwives in future. So very soon we'll be seeing a lot of you taking up independent midwifery practice and establishing midwifery-led care units in wherever you are working in your workplaces. This conference has seen an adequate mix of members from the SOMI national and state memberships. And the best part of this conference was that this was an amalgamation of panelists from different specializations. It was not only midwives who were talking about midwifery. So that is one great thing, that is nurses who are speaking, who are for independent midwifery practice. And there has been, there are panelists from medical, surgical, community health, all talking about independent midwifery practice and about reforms required for the rebirth of midwifery. So that was really great. So once again, a heartfelt thank you to all the organizers, organizing members. I'm sure they have put in a lot of effort and their effort is seen in the fruitful results of this conference. Thank you so much. On behalf of SOMI Maharashtra, a very big thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I take this opportunity to thank on behalf of MGM New Bombay College of Nursing and SOMI Maharashtra chapter. First of all, I thank our university MGM IHS, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Dalvi sir, as well as the Registrar, Dr. Goyal sir, for giving us this opportunity to conduct this e-conference, since it was a long back thought process and now it came into existence. A word of thanks to the SOMI India, especially the President, Madam Mitali ma'am, and all the executive members, as well as Rohini Nagre ma'am, for their constant support as well as encouragement. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the executive members of SOMI Maharashtra chapter, especially the Mangala Joshi ma'am as well as Shri Priya ma'am, for constantly guiding us for conducting this e-conference. A word of thanks to Mr. Anil and Mr. Nitin, the IT department, for all their technical support. I would like to thank all my colleagues for helping us to complete this conference. A word of thanks to all our speakers for agreeing and become the speakers and delivering a valuable informations in all during these 2 days of virtual conference. A big thanks to all participants for attending this e-conference. Not the least, thank you once again for participating in our e-conference. I have shared already the feedback link. Please complete your feedback link, and your certificates will be those of given the feedback for both the days, and day 1 and day 2, your certificates will be provided within 7 working days. It is within a week we'll be providing you the certificates. Suppose if you're not getting a certificates, I'll be putting my number in the chat box. You can WhatsApp me or you can call me and inquire for your certificates. So thank you once and for all. If you have any queries, anything, you can just WhatsApp to this number which I've provided in the chat box.
Hello. Hello, Preeti.
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if we are done, then we can close the meeting, no?
Yes, ma'am. We can close the meeting, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. 5 minutes रुको बात करते हैं.